the supreme black dragon throne. Greetings, fellow multiversal adventurers. It's an honor to have you back in this saga that has us all hooked. Official channel statement: this story is 100% epic fiction. So please don't attempt real magic, the results aren't guaranteed and insurance won't cover it. The rights to this masterpiece belong entirely to its brilliant original author. We are just a barge sharing it with you. Do you want to keep being part of this amazing community? Join our ninja army of subscribers on YouTube and give this content a like. And for true fans, our Patreon has exclusive ninjutsu waiting for you. Chapter 201 Simon, a man of loyalty and righteousness. Fox Goddess, are you alright? Simon descended, his figure blocking the view above. Although the fox demigod had been pierced through, she was still a demigod. She shouldn't have died so easily. No, I'm fine. I just need some rest. Mad Dragon Simon, let's leave quickly. That rhinoceros guy is tough and can hold off the star goddess for a while. Blood gushed from a large hole in the red fox demigod's body, but she still stubbornly tried to stand up. Simon's expression was cold. No, you're alright. How can you be alright? The red fox demigod was stunned, her gaze towards Simon filled with fear and confusion. Simon slapped down with lightning speed. Raging dragon claw, flames and lightning crackled around his fingernails. Simon's slap flattened the red fox demigod. Even in death, the red fox demigod couldn't understand why Simon wanted to kill her. Weren't they allies? Having done all this, Simon raised his head, filled with grief and indignation. It's terrible, Rhino brother, fox goddess, she's dead. She was killed by the star goddess. Simon's eyes were moist, his rim red, and he looked utterly heartbroken. The rhino demigod, who was fighting the star goddess, looked down in disbelief. Because Simon's size blocked his view, the rhino demigod didn't see the red fox demigod's death, but he could feel her life force fading away. No. Red, the rhino demigod cried out in grief and indignation. Star goddess, you deserve to die a horrible death. The star goddess, who had been framed, was not angry at all. Instead, she found it somewhat amusing. She was the star goddess, a true god with a complete divine essence. Would she care about the opinions of these ants? Even demigods who had already condensed their divine essence were nothing more than larger ants in the star goddess's eyes. Framed by ants, the star goddess felt no anger, only amusement. How amusing. You rhinoceros are quite foolish, getting completely played. The star goddess continued her attack, countless starlight shooting from her palm. The starlight intertwined in the sky, bursting forth with blinding brilliance. Wherever the light touched, it seemed to melt everything away. Even the physically powerful rhinoceros demigod and the mad dragon Simon could not withstand such an onslaught. When the light dissipated, both were left bloodied and battered. Black dragon brother, don't let Honger's sacrifice be in vain. Let's leave here quickly. We'll be safe once we reach headquarters. The rhinoceros demigod turned to Simon and said, then suddenly paused. Black dragon brother, you seem to have grown bigger? And your aura has become much stronger. Simon narrowed his eyes, his attention returning to the system notification. Devouring the red fox demigod, size plus 60 meters. Devouring the red fox demigod, faith plus 660,000. After absorbing the alluring godhood, the perfection of the devoured godhood has increased again, but the bonus is far less than that of absorbing the godhood. Is it because the godhoods are different, or is it because the fox demigod's godhood perfection is too low? Simon pondered. At the same time, he didn't forget to answer the rhinoceros demigod's question. This is my ability, which can temporarily increase aura and size. As he spoke, Simon activated the 20x Kaioken, his muscles bulging violently, making his body appear even more inflated. When will our other reinforcements arrive? Simon stood with the rhinoceros demigod, his eyes warily fixed on the star goddess. Hart and the others are on their way. The mobile base will arrive soon. Even the star goddess can't break through the base's protective shield. Let's leave here first. Don't let Honger's sacrifice be in vain. The rhinoceros demigod looked down reluctantly, intending to take one last look at the red fox demigod. Where did Honger go? Don't worry, I've taken her away. She sacrificed herself to save me. I will definitely give her a proper burial later. Simon patted his chest and guaranteed. The rhinoceros demigod was moved to tears. Good, Black Dragon brother, I didn't expect you to be such a loyal and righteous dragon. The star goddess watched this scene and couldn't help but laugh. Rhinoceros, do you really trust it that much? Don't forget that the black dragon is an evil dragon. Besides, I just saw him eat the fox with my own eyes while I was attacking, using the starlight he unleashed." As she spoke, the star goddess casually unleashed 2 beams of light. The rhinoceros demigod was stunned for a moment, looking at Simon with some suspicion. "Simon, righteous and sincere," declared Brother Rhino, "the star goddess is an enemy. She's trying to sow discord. Don't believe her." As the attack came, Simon shielded the rhino demigod from the attack. His broad dragon wings blocked the attack. The beam of light struck Simon, leaving him covered in blood and looking utterly wretched. The rhino demigod was deeply moved and began to rebuke the star goddess. "You, a true god who has perfected your divine nature, have resorted to such despicable acts of sowing discord. You are unworthy of your divine status." The star goddess frowned, somewhat angry. "You're courting death." She stretched out her hands and made a few gestures in the air, truly using magic. Flying stars, starlight appeared continuously, like bullets fired from an anti-aircraft gun, dense and fast. "Brother Black Dragon, run. I'll block this." The rhino demigod stepped in front of Simon. He cast a spell, creating a 1,000-meter-high earthen wall. But before the attack of a true god, these earthen walls were like building blocks erected by children, crumbling at the slightest touch. "Good brother, hold on." Simon turned and fled at top speed. Seeing Simon leave, the rhinoceros demigod nodded slightly. A dense barrage of starlight bombarded the rhinoceros demigod. The rhinoceros demigod used his divine essence to add defensive armor to himself. However, the seemingly indestructible armor was still no match for the slightly more serious star goddess. Countless starlight bombarded the rhinoceros demigod, leaving him riddled with bloody holes. Fortunately, being a demigod, his vitality was strong, and he did not die even so. He crashed to the ground. His divine essence drew energy from the earth, healing his injuries at a visible speed. The rhinoceros demigod ran wildly across the ground, fleeing, and quickly caught up with the flying Simon. The star goddess remained calm, watching Simon and the rhinoceros flee side by side, and cast a spell once more. "Draw a prison of stars." She lightly tapped her fingers in the air a few times. Several stars appeared beside Simon and the rhinoceros. These stars quickly connected to form a line, eventually becoming a huge cage that imprisoned them. Simon and the rhinoceros began to resist, trying to break free of the cage. They tried to ram it several times, but to no avail. "Just be crushed into mincemeat." The star goddess squeezed her left hand, and the cage began to shrink. Simon, being too large, was quite restrained by this move, so he simply channeled his faith power, using all his strength to unleash a furious dragon claw capable of tearing through space, forcefully ripping open the cage in front of him. He charged out. However, the rhinoceros demigod was not so lucky. Skilled in defense, it was not good at attacking, especially since this was magic cast by a true god. It rammed it several times, but could not break the cage no matter what. "Brother Rhinoceros, let me help you." Simon tore open the cage with both hands, creating a large hole. "Thank you." The rhinoceros immediately charged out. Seeing this, Simon seized the opportunity, opening his blood-red maw towards the hole, letting the rhinoceros rush into his mouth. Chapter 202. The plot against Simon. Rewind to half an hour earlier. In a forest in the southern part of the southern continent, formerly the Kingdom of Seal, now the Black Dragon Empire, several demigods gathered. "Heart, how is it? Has the mad dragon Simon arrived?" Having just ended a call with Simon, one demigod eagerly asked Heart. Heart smiled and nodded. "Of course, even for the celestial crystal, he will come." The other demigods exchanged glances, smiling. "Excellent. Once the mad dragon Simon arrives, we can imprison him and divide his faith among ourselves." I didn't expect the star goddess to be so indifferent to her own faith. The southern continent is so vast, with countless humans. Giving such a large territory to a black dragon who has only recently condensed his divine essence is such a waste. The conspiracy against Simon had already begun. However, there were still many dissenting voices within the Star-Picking Alliance. Simon the Mad Dragon's ability to kill the ocean god is undeniable. If he becomes our ally, we'll have a greater advantage against the Star Goddess. That's right, Simon the Mad Dragon's previous feat of single-handedly killing 4 demigods is indeed formidable. The world tree fruit is nearing its ripening. We need more allies to snatch it from the true god. Many still suggested that Simon join the Star-Picking Alliance. Among them was Heart, also a dragon. Heart, the red dragon, tried his best to speak for Simon, but was met with ridicule from the demigods. In the entire divine realm, Who doesn't know that it was the angel True God who killed the ocean god, and those 4 demigods, their faith is barely over 1,000,000. Any one of us could easily crush them. They dare to boast about such a record. Simon the Mad Dragon's only contribution to our star-picking alliance is to distribute his followers so we can harvest their faith. Those supporting Simon turned ashen-faced. Simon's record among the demigods was indeed poor, but they still wanted to recruit him. The two sides began arguing, but finally the person sitting in the main seat spoke up. Enough. Since we're unsure, let's stick to the usual method, majority rule. Raise your hands if you agree to imprison the Mad Dragon. In an instant, many high-ranking members of the Star-Picking Alliance raised their hands, representing the vast majority. Conversely, less than 1/10 of those who didn't raise their hands, willing to win over Simon, did. In that case, it's settled. Once the Mad Dragon arrives, we'll imprison him and divide his faith and divine power among ourselves. A divine power is formed from laws, arguably the purest form of law power. Not only can the devouring godhood absorb the divine powers of other demigods to increase its perfection, but other demigods can also absorb the law power within a divine power through various methods. The Star-Picking Alliance finalized a plan. At this moment, Heart Scales responded again, emitting Simon's voice, "Save me, save me." Through the scales, Heart saw Simon's current predicament. "Damn Star Goddess, she's trying to wipe out my dragon race's genius. Child, hold on. I'll immediately arrange for nearby allies to come to your aid." The communication ended. The man sitting in the main seat slowly spoke. "You all heard it, the Star Goddess is chasing the Mad Dragon. Who is willing to go to its aid?" No one spoke. The man then said again, "Whoever brings the Mad Dragon back will have priority in sharing the faith and divine power." Upon hearing this, a demigod finally agreed. The Red Fox demigod stepped forward. "Rhino and I are nearby, let us go." "All right." The man nodded slightly. However, the Star Goddess is still too powerful. Heart, begin moving the base to the rescue. The figures of the Red Fox demigod and the Rhino demigod gradually disappeared. Draw a prison of stars. The Star Goddess cast a spell, controlling a large amount of starlight to construct a cage, imprisoning Simon and the Rhino demigod respectively. Simon used all his strength to break the cage. But the Rhino demigod could not break free no matter what he did. "Brother Rhino, I'm here to help you." Simon ripped open the cage, creating a large hole. "Thank you." The Rhino immediately charged out. Seeing this, Simon seized the opportunity and opened his blood-red maw towards the opening. The Rhino demigod trusted Simon completely and never expected him to do such a thing. Unable to stop in time, he plunged headfirst into Simon's mouth. "Brother Rhino, your flesh is a bit tough. Chew, chew, chew." Simon chewed continuously. Sharp teeth bit into the Rhino demigod's flesh. Fortunately, the Rhino demigod's defense was outstanding, otherwise he would have been bitten to death by Simon. "Black Dragon, what are you doing?" the Rhino demigod screamed in Simon's mouth. "What am I doing? I just saw that you and the Fox demigod were so close, so I'm sending you two to reunite." "Chew, chew, chew," Simon said indistinctly while chewing. "What? You really ate Hanger?" The Rhino demigod was furious and began to use his battle techniques, rampaging through Simon's mouth. No matter what, it was still a demigod who had condensed a divine spark, and its attack power was still very strong. Several of Simon's teeth were broken. But it wasn't a big problem. Simon could consume them himself. Devouring divine spark, Simon did not hesitate to use his devouring divine spark. The power of law filled his mouth. The broken teeth were absorbed by the devouring divine spark, converted into energy, and allowed Simon to grow new teeth. The rhinoceros demigod could only try his best to resist. But Simon continued to chew. The devouring divine spark and Simon's chewing worked together, and the rhinoceros demigod's strength decreased sharply. It began to be unable to resist, and its skin began to be dissolved by the devouring divine spark. "What a foolish rhinoceros!" The Star Goddess watched this scene with disdain and ridicule. When the rhinoceros demigod dared to say that she was not worthy of a true god, it had already committed suicide. Even if Simon did not eat the rhinoceros demigod, the Star Goddess would definitely kill it. "Now it's your turn, Black Dragon Simon." The Star Goddess pointed her finger at Simon from a distance. Meteor, starlight gathered at a point on her finger, ready to be unleashed. Like a shooting star streaking across the sky, it was dazzling and beautiful. "Well done," Simon laughed. He aimed at the incoming meteor attack, opened his mouth, revealing the rhinoceros demigod still struggling and resisting inside. The rhinoceros demigod, shrouded in darkness, was overjoyed when he sensed the light emanating from Simon's open mouth. He thought he could escape, but instead, a meteor as fast as lightning struck him. Whoosh! The powerful meteor pierced directly through the rhinoceros demigod's body. And Simon seized the opportunity to use his devouring godhood to reduce the damage inflicted by the meteor. Even though the devouring godhood instantly absorbed most of the meteor's damage, Simon's throat was still pierced. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 203: A Colorful Wish in the Starry Wilderness. Ugh! Simon whimpered in pain as his throat was pierced. Fortunately, his vitality was extremely strong, and this injury wouldn't have a significant impact on him. Simon's willingness to take the risk yielded enormous benefits. The rhinoceros demigod, who had been struggling desperately and putting up a last-ditch resistance, had his body pierced by the star goddess, and his strength decreased sharply once again. Simon immediately seized the opportunity, tearing at the rhinoceros demigod while using the devouring godhead to try and digest it directly. At this point, the rhinoceros demigod's death was a foregone conclusion. Simon unsurprisingly succeeded in biting the rhinoceros demigod to death and swallowing it whole, successfully digesting it. Devoured the rhinoceros demigod, size plus 60 meters, devoured the rhinoceros demigod, faith plus 660,000, Simon's size increased again, and the faith power within him had also thickened to 4.71 million. 980 meters in length, 4.71 million faith power. Simon curled the corners of his mouth. The devouring god had successfully converted the rhinoceros demigod's life into energy, allowing Simon's injuries to heal. Despite being covered in blood, Simon's wounds had completely healed. Right now, it wouldn't be an exaggeration to call me the strongest demigod, Simon thought, his confidence surging. These demigods are quite delicious. My divine spark is almost 50% complete. Devouring one demigod's divine spark increases my completion rate by about 10%, with the ocean god bringing the highest increase of 20%. As his divine spark matured, Simon found himself using the devouring law more skillfully. He seemed to have gained some insight. With a thought, Simon began to manipulate the nearby devouring law using his divine spark. Invisible forces of law gathered, gradually forming a small black dot before Simon. What is this? Simon wondered, simultaneously sensing something about the black dot. Before he could explore further, the star goddess made a new move. You actually used me to devour the rhinoceros, black dragon. Your growth rate is truly astonishing. Even I haven't grown as fast as you. If you release this tiger back into the mountains, it will surely become a great threat in the future. Today, I will kill you right here, the star goddess spoke, her aura rising continuously. Even Simon, in his current state, was terrified by this aura, his expression changing drastically. The star goddess seemed to be getting serious. Countless starlight began to appear around them. Even though it was broad daylight, the sun was at its strongest, but these starlight seemed even more dazzling and overwhelming than the sunlight. Star magic, a wish for a vast and colorful galaxy. Starlight continued to appear, and the scene changed. Simon seemed to be in a vast and boundless universe. Everything around him disappeared, and what came into view was an endless expanse of countless brilliant starlight. The starlight was dazzling and beautiful. Simon was in the center of the boundless starry universe, and a girl slowly appeared. The girl's face was not visible, but her expression was devout, and her eyes revealed infinite longing. This person was none other than the star goddess. Or rather, the star goddess in her youth. A wish for a vast and colorful galaxy, the first wish, to observe the stars, the girl spoke slowly, her voice neither too loud nor too soft. Reaching Simon's ears perfectly. Even Simon, who considered himself the strongest demigod, couldn't help but tremble. His body moved uncontrollably, his eyes glazed over. His heart was filled with horror and terror. Laws. This must be the power of laws, the power of the laws of the stars. Move. Get your body moving, the girl's voice fell just then. In the galaxy universe, countless stars, numbering in the billions, began to erupt with terrifying energy fluctuations. Oh no, I'm going to die, I'm going to die. This time I've really messed up. Simon was filled with anxiety, a sense of impending doom gripping his heart. To fight against the laws, I can only use the laws. Only the power of laws can fight against the power of laws. Simon's eyes darted around, noticing a small black hole that had just formed beside him. I've got it. This is the purest power of devouring laws, but it's too small. It needs enough to grow. Without hesitation, Simon immediately retrieved a large amount of celestial crystals from the divine realm. Fortunately, Simon had earned a considerable amount of celestial crystals in the god realm during this time, so he wasn't particularly distressed. As the celestial crystals appeared, the small black hole instantly devoured them. After absorbing hundreds of celestial crystals, the black hole immediately expanded to a size of 100 meters. An unparalleled suction force emanated from it. Simon immediately felt much lighter. Great! I can move again. This means the star goddess's power of law can no longer completely overwhelm me. I have a fighting chance. Energy waves surged from all directions throughout the galaxy. Power of faith at full speed. Small black hole, come here, in a flash, enhance my cunning. Damn it, 20 times is the maximum? Has it reached the limit for enhancing with cunning? Demigod struck wood, demigod star tears, and a few extra world tree leaves, regardless of their value. Throw them all in. Simon went all out. He threw the purchased lightning struck wood, the star tears obtained from the star goddess, and the world tree leaves he had obtained from devouring other demigods into the small black hole. With such a massive amount of treasure filling it, the black hole immediately expanded to over 800 meters. Some starlight had already begun to be sucked into the black hole. But a considerable amount of starlight was still bombarding Simon's body. Even someone as strong as Simon knew he couldn't hold out for long. Not enough, still not enough. Simon threw out another large amount of celestial crystals. This was all his wealth. After consuming nearly 1,000 more celestial crystals, the black hole's diameter successfully exceeded 1,000 meters, even larger than Simon's. The suction force above became increasingly terrifying. Starlight from all over the sky seemed to be drawn in, continuously pouring into the black hole, which continued to expand as it devoured the starlight. In the end, the starlight dissipated, and the black hole's diameter approached 3,000 meters. The star goddess glanced at Simon in surprise. This kind of move, your divine perfection level has exceeded 50%, hasn't it, Black Dragon? I admit you are indeed very strong and have great potential, but the starry wilderness's colorful wish isn't limited to just one move. She looked up at the sky and slowly extended her right hand. The girl's slender, fair arms were raised high, her hands seemingly reaching for something. A wish for a vast, colorful galaxy. The second wish, to grasp the stars. Simon's pupils dilated upon hearing this. There's even a second move? Is this the true power of the star goddess? Simon was shocked by this power, but his movements didn't falter. Goodbye, you can play with your own moves, I'm not playing along. Simon pushed with both hands, and the giant black hole thousands of meters in front of him was propelled towards the star goddess. Art is an explosion. Little black hole, explode, huh? Chapter 204 Reinforcements arrive. Little black hole, explode, huh? Simon roared, unleashing the small black hole that had grown into a colossal object before him. Within the black hole, the first attack from the star goddess had already been devoured. In addition, it contained a large amount of items and celestial crystals that Simon had invested. It could be said that this black hole was the maximum attack Simon could unleash at this moment. Its power was terrifying. Describing it as world-destroying wouldn't be an exaggeration. With Simon's roar, the small black hole slowly drifted towards the star goddess. The star goddess frowned. This attack absorbed the energy of the first wish. Once it explodes, it's like I'm attacking myself. Simon's ability was quite strange. The star goddess thought for a moment but still decided to act. Second wish, grasp the star. The star goddess began to clench her fist. Simon immediately felt his entire body being squeezed by something invisible. He tried his best to resist, while being pushed towards the star goddess's small black hole, which also began to change. The black hole began to twist and shrink, eventually becoming a small black dot. Boom! The black hole exploded. The world fell silent at that moment. The explosion created a shockwave. Even Simon was blasted backward. The starlight surrounding them shattered under the force of the blast. The star goddess stared wide-eyed, speechless, watching this scene in disbelief. She couldn't believe that Simon, a mere demigod, could possibly shatter her starry wilderness wish. Hey, finally out. Star goddess, next time we meet will be when I devour you. Simon used the force of the blast to quickly create distance. He waved, as if bidding farewell to an old friend. Thundercloud sky shaking wings, Simon spread his wings at full power, lightning crackling on them. With a support of 4.71 million units of faith power, Simon's speed increased dramatically, transforming into a streak of red light as he sped forward. In the blink of an eye, Simon had disappeared into the horizon. The star goddess frowned deeply. The devouring godhead is more powerful than I imagined. Just absorbing the energy of the first wish has already broken my law domain. The star goddess stood there, lost in thought. After a moment's thought, a bold idea flashed in her eyes. Perhaps with him, my plan can be realized, but this idea was quickly dismissed by the star goddess. He's just a demigod and, at most, a slightly harder ant to kill. If you can become a true god, perhaps you could consider it. The star goddess shook her head self-deprecatingly, then took the initiative to attack. The star goddess reconstructed a starry phantom in the sky. She stretched out her large hand and grabbed at Simon. At this moment, Simon had already escaped 10,000 meters away. Even the star goddess couldn't catch up with Simon for a while. Beep beep beep, a red scale appeared in Simon's hand, actively establishing contact with Heart. It's bad, Heart. Rhino and Fox have both been killed by that bastard star goddess. Simon was covered in blood and looked extremely disheveled. Heart was stunned upon hearing this. The Rhino demigod and the Red Fox demigod were both considered top-tier members of the Star-Picking Alliance, and he never expected them to be dead. Just as Heart was stunned, Simon continued, "You'd better send more reinforcements quickly. The star goddess is too powerful. Look at my miserable state. If I weren't so tough and resilient, I'd probably be dead by now." Simon pleaded with Heart for help. He kept lamenting his misfortune, like a child who had lost a fight and was complaining to his parents. Heart finally snapped out of his daze and quickly comforted Simon. "Child, don't be afraid. Headquarters is on its way. 5 minutes, at most 5 minutes." Even Simon was a little confused by Heart's words. "Are you sure it's headquarters and not reinforcements on their way?" Simon asked, puzzled. "That's right, child. When you see headquarters, you will feel reverence from the bottom of your heart. That is the supreme glory of our dragon race." Heart's tone became full of pride when he mentioned this. "Black dragon, where can you run to?" The star goddess had caught up from behind. She pointed her right hand at Simon, shooting out countless starlight. Meteor, the starlight was like a machine gun bullet, swift and powerful. Simon adjusted his stance, unleashing his full power. Roar of the fire dragon, the power of a dragon's explosion was mixed in. With the enhancement of various states, even Simon's breath became incredibly powerful. The scorching flame seemed to distort space itself. The starlight struck, colliding with the flames. Upon contact, energy exploded, and shockwaves surged. After devouring 2 demigods in succession, the black dragon's strength has increased several levels, but if it only tries to oppose a true god like this, it's rather wishful thinking. The star goddess's lips curled into a contemptuous smile. The meteor's starlight instantly dispersed the flames, heading straight for Simon. "If I can't beat him, can't I at least dodge? Where there's a will, there's a way." If the attack can't be countered, Simon can naturally dodge it. Electricity crackled around him, and in an instant, 3,000 clones appeared. 3,000 thunder dragons. Simon's thoughts stirred, and his figure merged into 3,000 clones, then scattered in all directions. To conceal his form, Simon deliberately withdrew his power of faith, as well as the amplification effects of his lightning strike and Kaioken. This significantly reduced Simon's strength and speed, but his aura remained identical to that of his 3,000 clones. A mere trick, nothing more than countless stars in this world. Showing off your clones in front of us is nothing but showing off your limited skills. Utterly foolish, the star goddess mocked. "Disperse," she simply waved her hand. The countless meteors that shot out immediately multiplied, giving rise to even more meteors. In an instant, the entire sky was covered by a gigantic 1,000-meter-long black dragon and an endless array of meteors. Bang bang bang, one clone after another was directly blasted apart by the meteors. In the end, only Simon's true form remained, fleeing in a sorry state. As expected of the star goddess, you indeed possess numerous methods and profound resources, but you seem to have overlooked something. Simon faced the star goddess, raising his right hand. A tiny black dot appeared in his palm. "Thanks to you, my control over the laws has become much more proficient. Perhaps it won't be long before I break through to true godhood. At that time, I will need to thank you, my teacher." Even more, little black hole, devour her, Simon said, flinging out the black dot. The black dot was composed of pure devouring law. Air, light. Nothing could escape its devouring power. The black dot grew larger and larger. This trick again, do you think it'll work? The star goddess shot out a finger, imbued with supreme legal power. A powerful attack containing the star law directly shattered the still developing little black hole. The star goddess looked at Simon triumphantly, without making a move. Her provocative gaze seemed to ask Simon what other trump cards he had up his sleeve, signaling him to use them all. Simon, of course, knew that the little black hole couldn't harm the star goddess. After all, Simon's devouring godhood was only 50% complete, making it impossible for him to contend with a veteran true god like the star goddess. So why was Simon going to the trouble of using it? Because reinforcements have arrived. Heart, kill her. Chapter 205 Sky City. With Simon's command, a colossal city appeared in the space behind him. The city hovered in the air, seemingly suspended in space itself. Simon's voice faded. The space behind him shattered, and the massive Sky City suddenly materialized. Dozens of demigod auras emanated from it. Simon's face lit up with delight. The star goddess, however, remained dismissive, a bunch of clowns. This Sky City, however, is quite interesting. It can actually traverse space. She extended her palm with interest. The Sky City stood tall in the void. The exposed portion alone was at least tens of thousands of square meters in size. Such a colossal city was truly exceptional. A city of the ancient dragon race? It's a waste for mere demigod ants to possess such a treasure. The star goddess extended her hand. Her star-shaped hand expanded with a wind, growing to tens of thousands of meters in size. Child, come in quickly, Heart's voice echoed from within the Sky City. Relax your body. You are a descendant of the dragon race. Sensing the call of your bloodline, do not resist. Light descended. Simon felt as if drawn by a force, instinctively moving towards Sky City. Knowing this was his chance to escape the star goddess, he charged towards it. Sky City, the city of the ancient dragon race, was immense. Even Simon felt a sense of emptiness upon entering. Go, Heart shouted, and before the star goddess's massive hand could strike, Sky City vanished. The star goddess was stunned, seemingly surprised that Simon and Sky City had escaped right before her eyes. She roared angrily, Black Dragon Simon, you're lucky today, you've escaped this time, but you won't be so lucky next time. With that, the star goddess angrily departed. Her towering figure dissolved into starlight and vanished completely. Meanwhile, Simon arrived at the center of Sky City. He surveyed the scene. Sky City was dilapidated, with various destroyed buildings scattered throughout, the marks of time etched upon this epic city. Around Sky City, numerous rubble stones floated, making it appear even more ruined. Child, you've come, Heart said, stepping forward. He was still in human form. His short, fiery red hair and sharply defined features gave the middle-aged man a resolute appearance. However, Heart's expression towards Simon was one of affection. Simon nodded slightly, simply humming in response, before turning his gaze to the demigods behind Heart and the man beside him. Compared to the demigods behind him, Simon was more curious about the man standing beside Heart. A legend without faith, without divinity, can stand on equal footing with you. Simon leaned down to look at the man. Heart laughed heartily. Child, judging by appearances isn't a good thing. Come, let me introduce you. This is the leader of our star-picking alliance, and also the master of this Sky City. Bam! Simon's pupils contracted. The amount of information in Heart's words left Simon somewhat incredulous. He instead laughed out loud. Ha ha ha, a group of demigods who have condensed divinity, actually following a legend's lead. Simon's words revealed his disdain for Bam, the lord of Sky City. You dare to underestimate the alliance leader? A demigod stepped forward, glaring at Simon. His body swelled, revealing his true form. This was a tiger demigod, a full 100 meters tall, looking imposing. But before Simon, the 100-meter-tall tiger demigod was nothing more than a slightly larger kitten. Simon looked down at the tiger demigod, sensing its aura, and merely scoffed without replying. Bam waved his hand, his black robes billowing as he looked up at Simon. His eyes revealed appreciation. Not bad, a descendant of the dragon race. Become my servant, join us, and together we will overthrow the star goddess, plunder her faith, and divide her power, so that we may all become true gods. Bam's black robes seemed to possess some kind of magic, obscuring his appearance. Simon didn't answer, instead scanning the demigods before him. 1, 2, 3, 4, the demigods raised an eyebrow. What are you counting? Simon grinned. Counting my food, of course. With that, Simon suddenly sprang up. 4,700,000 units of faith power rapidly circulated. Flames and lightning crackled around his claws. Raging dragon claw. With a single slap, no one could react. The tiger demigod, now revealing his true form, was struck on the head by Simon's paw. Simon's current size was nearly 1,000 meters, his physical body incredibly powerful. Even a demigod would find it difficult to match. Coupled with a boost from 4,700,000 units of faith power, his attack was terrifyingly strong. This raging dragon claw technique fused the explosive power of Dragon Blast, the red lightning power of ancient Dragon Thunder Spear, the intimidating power of Conqueror's Haki, the spatial power of Berserker Ape Strike, the speed power of Chidori. All these powers were integrated into one. With a single slap, he directly shattered the tiger demigod's head, killing him instantly. What are you doing, Mad Dragon Simon? You're too arrogant. This is Sky City, the headquarters of our star-picking alliance. How dare you openly attack and injure people? One demigod after another was furious. Even those demigods who had previously spoken up for Simon, trying to win him over, were now enraged. Hart did the same. Bam, the leader, raised his right hand. In prison, countless golden chains appeared out of thin air in Sky City, binding Simon completely. Bam shook his head. Mad Dragon Simon, you are still too young and impetuous. Don't worry, I won't kill you, but you won't escape punishment. Use your faith and divinity to atone for your sins. Hart's expression was complicated, somewhat unable to meet Simon's gaze. So that's it. You've got your eyes on my faith and divinity. I knew you had ill intentions, but I share the same thoughts as you, Simon said. It was true that the Star-Picking Alliance wanted to fight the Star Goddess. But they also needed to collect more faith to aid their cultivation. Simon had devoured various powerful enemies along the way. Now, ordinary, extraordinary and legendary creatures were no longer enough for Simon. He needed demigods, a large number of demigods, to enhance his strength. However, demigods were all elusive, and finding a living demigod was not easy. And then, a demigod organization called the Star-Picking Alliance approached Simon. Simon immediately set his sights on the demigods of the Star-Picking Alliance. After devouring several demigods along the way, Simon's strength had reached an unprecedented level. He even considered himself the strongest demigod. So Simon entered the Star-Picking Alliance's headquarters, Sky City, without hesitation. Mad Dragon Simon, you are now bound by the dragon punishment chains. These are chains used to punish ancient dragons who have erred. You cannot break free with your strength alone, Bam said confidently. Is that so? But these chains, why are they so loose? Simon grinned maliciously. Chapter 206,000 meters. Clang, clang, clang. The chains rattled and cracked inch by inch. Simon glared ferociously at the demigods before him. These were all demigods who had condensed divine sparks. In short, Simon's chance to break through to true godhood lay here. Devour divine sparks. Simon opened his mouth wide, emitting a suction force. The demigods used their abilities to resist one by one. The already dead tiger demigod wasn't so lucky. He was swallowed whole by Simon. Devoured tiger demigod, size plus 50 meters. Devoured tiger demigod, faith plus 1 million. This tiger looks pretty strong, but its faith power is less than 2 million. Simon spat disdainfully. Simon's devouring divine spark was constantly improving. The percentage of faith power he could gain after devouring demigods would increase. Although the bonus from devouring the tiger demigod was small, Simon still successfully broke through to 1,000 meters. The shackles within his body were completely shattered. Simon's aura surged rapidly, and his physical strength increased several levels. Now, with his physical body alone, Simon was confident he could fight against the demigods before him. You actually broke free of the dragon punishment chains, Bam stared in disbelief. Hart was the same. As a member of the dragon race, Hart naturally knew the significance of the dragon punishment chains. These were chains used by the king to punish sinful dragons during the ancient times when dragons ruled the world. It must be understood that in ancient times, the dragon race was incredibly powerful. Demigods were everywhere, and legends were as common as dogs. The dragon punishment chains, capable of punishing powerful dragon members, not only held special significance but were also extremely powerful artifacts. The mad dragon Simon had broken the dragon punishment chains with his bare body. Didn't this mean his physical body had surpassed that of a demigod, approaching mythology? What so-called dragon punishment chains? Nothing special. Simon suddenly sensed something and paused, glancing to the side. A familiar aura, vaguely familiar, but I can't quite place it. Is it some old acquaintance? All the demigods saw Simon's actions. Following his gaze, the demigods' expressions all changed drastically. That's where the blood pig is. Stop him, one of the demigods shouted, lunging at Simon. He revealed his true form, a gigantic rhinoceros beetle, over 10 meters tall. Because of Simon's earlier display, the rhinoceros beetle demigod immediately unleashed his full power, one horn to pry the world. Demigod power condensed on the rhinoceros beetle demigod's horn. The other demigods also joined the fray. Tearing fang, poisonous breath, the demigods of the Star-Picking Alliance were not human. They craved followers and a large amount of faith to gather and join the Star-Picking Alliance. Simon remained motionless, letting the attacks fall upon him. The demigods' attacks were all incredibly powerful. The combined attack of dozens of demigods even dimmed the sky. But Simon remained unmoved, letting the attacks strike him. Bang! A series of energy explosions rang out. Did it succeed? Is the mad dragon dead? The demigods stared intently ahead. From within the smoke, a pair of scarlet dragon eyes appeared. An endless pressure emanated from them, causing the demigods to pale in horror. Ha ha, ha 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 ha, laughter echoed through the sky, reverberating throughout the entire sky city, lingering for a long time. Demigods, nothing more. The smoke dissipated, revealing Simon's colossal, mountain-like form. The demigods stared, speechless with astonishment. Their combined attack had only managed to strip Simon of some scales, leaving him a bloody mess. Such minor damage was utterly insignificant to Simon, who possessed a body 1,000 meters long. Even more deadly was Simon's sudden opening of its maw. It swallowed the remaining shockwaves from the demigod's attack. Its devouring godhood activated. The demigods' attacks were instantly converted into energy. The injured areas began to repair themselves at a visible speed. Flesh grew rapidly, and scales were restored in a blink of an eye. 1,000 meters is a class, similar to veteran demigod with over 5 million followers. Right now, even without using any abilities, my physical strength alone is enough to kill most demigods. This power is truly mesmerizing. Simon let out a comfortable groan. He took 4 steps and slowly made his way towards the source of the aura. The demigods were already speechless with shock at Simon's power. Even Bam and Hart were speechless. One of the demigods who had previously supported and tried to win over Simon spoke up leisurely. Didn't someone say that mad dragon Simon's combat power is negligible? Which of you can withstand the combined attack of dozens of demigods and still look unharmed? No demigod answered. Simon didn't care about the opinions of these demigods. He went straight ahead to the source of the aura. It was a newly built house. Simon simply flicked his finger and blew the entire roof off. What came into view was a pig man with a completely blood-red body. The pig man was completely blood-red, like a piece of precious jade, crystal clear. An apostle of the blood cry god. Simon narrowed his eyes. Since killing the blood cry god's monkey apostle in the Moor Kingdom, Simon hadn't seen any of the blood cry god's apostles. Furthermore, the blood cry god had directly dispelled the curse placed upon Simon, attempting to invite him to become one of his apostles. The crimson pigman also looked up and saw Simon. However, the pigman's reaction was far greater than Simon had imagined. Evil dragon, it's you. I will kill you. I will definitely kill you. Even if you grow larger and your appearance changes, I will never mistake you. You damned evil dragon. I will definitely kill you. The crimson pigman's pupils flickered upon seeing Simon, followed by a roar and furious howl. The crimson pigman let out a heart-wrenching roar. Simon was intimidated by its aura. He couldn't help but ask in confusion, even Blood Cry God doesn't intend to be my enemy, yet you, his apostle, still want to kill me. The crimson pigman roared again. The day the pigman tribe was wiped out in the magic crystal forest, I will never forget that scene. Simon suddenly realized. So you're a survivor of the pigman tribe? Huh? It's kind of nostalgic. No, that only happened a few months ago. It's not worth reminiscing about. Besides, I remember a group of pigmen escaped through the underground passage. Simon bent down, approaching the crimson pigman. He suddenly laughed. Hey, in just a few months, You've gone from an ordinary pigman to a legend. That must be related to the blessing bestowed by Blood Cry God, right? Most of Blood Cry God's apostles have the ability to devour flesh and blood. You keep saying I wiped out the pigman tribe, but since you were chosen to become Blood Cry God's apostle, you must need a lot of flesh and blood, right? Who exactly wiped out those escaped pigmen? Chapter 207 Ancient Dragon Bam. Simon questioned him. The crimson pigman's lips moved, but he couldn't utter a word. Seeing no answer, Simon at least gave a contemptuous snort. The moment he saw the crimson pigman, a plan flashed into Simon's mind. He turned to Hart behind him. HMPH, is this all the Star-Picking Alliance is capable of? If I'm not mistaken, this pigman is your secret weapon against the Star Goddess. The demigods were shocked. Simon continued, based on my experience fighting the Star Goddess, it's impossible for an ordinary demigod to defeat her. Therefore, if you want to eliminate the Star Goddess, you can only use another true god who has perfected their divine essence. That Blood Cry God has always coveted this land, and this apostle is the medium through which you cooperate with him, isn't he? Simon's simple words revealed the Star-Picking Alliance's trump card. The Star Goddess was incredibly powerful. Simon had already experienced her power. As his divine essence continued to improve, Simon himself understood more and more the gap between a true god and a demigod. Even Simon could only compensate for the gap in his divine perfection by relying on his physical body. Not bad, Mad Dragon Simon, your intelligence has impressed me. You guessed our trump card at a glance. Bam stepped forward and slowly extended his right hand. Join us, Mad Dragon Simon. With the Blood Cry God, we will surely be able to achieve star picking. Once the Star Goddess falls, the southern continent will be ours to call the shots. Bam extended the invitation again. If before it was just a formality, after witnessing Simon's potential and strength, this time Bam genuinely wanted to recruit Simon. Simon leaned down. His 1,000-meter tall figure brought absolute pressure. He approached Bam. In Bam's human form, even Simon's teeth were larger than him. If the Star-Picking Alliance were merely a bunch of delusional demigods dreaming of killing the Star Goddess, I would have no hesitation in turning you into my food. But now that I know of the Blood Cry God's existence, I believe you have a chance of success. However, I need to know if you now possess a method to confront the Star Goddess. The Blood Cry God is a true god of the Eastern Continent. Even he cannot come to the Southern Continent unless he intends to face an attack from the three true gods of the Southern Continent. There seems to be an unwritten rule among the true gods of this world. A true god of one continent is never allowed to set foot on another, otherwise they will face an attack from all the true gods of that continent. The Southern Continent has three true gods, the Star Goddess, the Night Goddess, and the Earth Mother Goddess. Don't be fooled by the fact that the Night Goddess and the Earth Mother Goddess are not widely known. If a true god violates this rule and enters the Southern Continent, these three true gods will immediately set aside any past grudges and join forces against the enemy. Hart stepped forward and explained to Simon, "Child, we naturally have our own way of bringing down the Blood God. The Blood God wields blood and blasphemy. He is a very special true god, and the Pigman Apostle is the medium through which he descends. And that's not all. The Pigman Apostle possesses the power of plunder. As long as he can condense a divine spark, he can plunder the consciousness left behind by the Blood God, briefly unleashing the power of a true god. At that time, we will have the power to fight against the Star Goddess." Hart directly told Simon about the Star-Picking Alliance's plan. "Child, we sincerely want to form an alliance with you, so we won't hide it from you. This is our trump card, our secret weapon against the Star Goddess." Simon listened thoughtfully. Unleashing the power of a true god. Huh? That does have the potential to fight against the Star Goddess. Then, before joining the Star-Picking Alliance, I have one more question. Hart smiled. "Child, please ask." Simon's gaze locked onto Bam. "Why is it that a legendary figure who isn't even a demigod can become the leader of the Star-Picking Alliance?" Hart turned and exchanged a glance with Bam. The demigods behind him stepped forward and laughed. One of them jokingly said, "Mad Dragon Simon, you should call the Alliance leader ancestor by all accounts." Simon was taken aback. Bam revealed his true form. His black robes were tattered, and his body swelled at a visible speed. A horned, ferocious-looking dragon appeared before Simon. This dragon looked quite different from Simon. It was thin, unlike Simon's muscular build, appearing much more slender. Its skin was like stone, covered entirely in grayish-white dragon scales. Most importantly, it didn't have a pair of wings on its back, but rather a pair on its back and a pair on its waist. It had 4 wings on its back, and its skin was like hard gray stone. It was slender, and had long, thin whiskers around its mouth. This was the mysterious dragon race throughout history, the ancient dragon. The moment this ancient dragon appeared, Simon felt a resonance in his bloodline, and felt a sense of awe towards Bam in his dragon form. This suppression stemmed from bloodline, much like a mischievous child instinctively feeling awe upon seeing their imposing father. However, Simon wouldn't be swayed by such bloodline influences. Subordinates overthrowing superiors was a traditional skill. Simon didn't mind experiencing the mysterious and ancient power of the dragons. Child, you possess one of the ancient dragon's powers, which is the main reason I want to recruit you, Bam said. Ancient dragon power, is it the ancient dragon lightning spear? Simon realized, a crimson lightning spear, seemingly capable of piercing the heavens and earth, appearing in his hand. Upon seeing the ancient dragon lightning spear, Bam's expression became extremely excited. That's right, crimson lightning, it's this crimson lightning power. Crimson lightning is the symbol of the ancient dragon's power. As for divinity, I could have condensed it long ago if I wanted to, Bam said, mobilizing his power. Simon felt the power of laws constantly gathering within Bam's body, only to be ultimately cancelled by Bam. What I have always pursued is the Crimson Thunder Godhead, symbolizing the power of the ancient dragons. Only by condensing the Crimson Thunder Godhead can the dragon race have a chance to rise again, Bam said meaningfully. Simon blinked, subconsciously saying, Crimson Thunder Godhead? I already condensed and consumed that thing. You can't condense it, Bam, heart, all the demigods. Simon's words left the demigods and the 2 dragons present stunned. As everyone knows, a godhead is unique. Although godheads can have similarities, the same godhead will only appear once in a short period of time. Perhaps Bam can still condense a blue thunder godhead, a yellow thunder godhead. But it is absolutely impossible for him to condense the Crimson Thunder Godhead that Simon has already condensed. Chapter 208 Pleasant Cooperation. You've condensed a Crimson Thunder Godhead, you've eaten a Godhead, you ate the Crimson Thunder Godhead, the demigods asked one after another. Simon could even see the astonishment on Bam's face. The world tree's branches covered the entire world. It seemed to protect the world from the invasion of external gods, but it also blocked the influx of laws from the void. Legends could only condense the godheads of the laws possessed by this world. If a godhead had already been condensed, even if the demigod was killed on the spot, it would still take at least several hundred years to condense a godhead of the same type again. Moreover, Simon wasn't even dead, he had only eaten the godhead and condensed a devouring godhead in return. It's alright. An ancient dragon's body doesn't die from old age. I have plenty of time. Bam recovered from his shock. He shrank back into human form. So, Mad Dragon Simon, are you willing to join the Star-Picking Alliance? Bam looked up at Simon and slowly extended his palm. Simon's lips curled into a smile as he extended his claws to touch Bam. Pleasant cooperation. I'll look forward to the day I can kill the Star Goddess. The instant they made contact, Simon felt a string of information appear in his mind. Ling, you have successfully joined the Star-Picking Alliance and signed a contract. Do not betray the alliance, the system prompted him. Simon carefully considered this. This was an alliance contract. If Simon betrayed the Star-Picking Alliance, the contract would immediately explode in his mind. Even as a demigod, Simon's brain couldn't withstand such an explosion stemming from violating the contract. Simon's thoughts stirred, and he attempted to devour the contract using his devouring godhead. Upon discovering that the contract couldn't prevent the devouring godhead's devouring power, Simon completely relaxed. However, despite his inner relaxation, Simon still maintained a facade. He feigned displeasure, clearly dissatisfied. A contract, a fine tactic, humph. Simon snorted coldly, 2 puffs of stale air escaping from his nostrils. Bam smiled, just a little trick to ensure the safety of our own people. After all, you just devoured tiger. If I'm not mistaken, you also devoured red fox and rhinoceros, right, Simon, of course, wouldn't admit it. Even though they had already broken off relations, now that they were allied, they had to at least maintain a facade of friendship. What do you take me for, ancient dragon Bam? I am the Mad Dragon Simon. My strength can crush a bunch of demigods. If I want to eat, I'll eat openly and honestly. Why would I do something despicable? Simon denied it decisively. That's for the best. But with a contract as a guarantee, we'll trust you even more, Bam said with a chuckle. The other demigods breathed a sigh of relief when they saw Simon had signed the contract. The scene of Simon withstanding a combined attack from demigods had really shaken their fragile hearts. If Simon really wanted to kill any of them, these demigods probably wouldn't have any power to fight back. The promises of evil dragons are not trustworthy. The pigman tribe is the best warning, the crimson pigman suddenly said. Simon turned and looked down at the crimson pigman. A mere legendary pigman dares to spout such nonsense in front of me. If you weren't still of use, I would have eaten you long ago, the crimson pigman retorted. How, evil dragon? You should pray that my strength doesn't surpass yours. One day, I will kill you, eat your dragon flesh raw, and drink your dragon blood alive. Upon hearing this, Simon's eyes narrowed slightly, his expression becoming dangerous. Alright, child, you don't need to bother with a pigman. He's just a weapon we and the blood god used to fight against the star goddess. Hart stepped forward to smooth things over. Simon nodded slightly, not taking the crimson pigman to heart. He was still useful, it wasn't time for the crimson pigman to die yet. So Simon wouldn't kill him, even though the crimson pigman kept provoking him with words. Then, I should be able to enjoy the benefits of joining the Star-Picking Alliance, right? Simon narrowed his eyes, immersing his consciousness in the divine realm, and took out some celestial crystals. Although Simon had poured all his celestial crystals into the small black hole during the battle, his earning ability was still quite considerable. In no time, he had earned several dozen more celestial crystals. While several dozen celestial crystals weren't much compared to thousands, for an ordinary demigod, it was a significant sum. I want to exchange them for celestial crystals of the devouring law, Simon immediately said, taking out his newly earned crystals without hesitation. I won't break my promise. This is the biggest benefit of the Star-Picking Alliance, Bam said, taking Simon's crystals and exchanging them for the corresponding number of devouring law celestial crystals. As the owner of Sky City, the ancient dragon Bam possessed countless riches. Having obtained the corresponding law celestial crystals, Simon immediately devoured them without hesitation. So many celestial crystals absorbed, and I haven't even perfected 1% yet, Simon frowned. It seems I need to speed up my celestial crystal earning. Simon pondered this, deciding to accelerate his celestial crystal earning. The plants he had recently entrusted to the little elf Andy for cultivation were almost mature. Especially the sunflower seed that the system had previously rewarded. It contained Simon's aura, it was a dragon blood sunflower. If Andy cultivated it well, it would surely bring Simon a great harvest. Then, to welcome the newcomer, let's have a party, Alliance leader Bam suggested. The demigods immediately cheered, completely ignoring the recently deceased red fox demigod, rhino demigod, and tiger demigod. Although they were all allies, if one demigod was missing, they would receive a larger share of faith and resources after the star goddess's fall. Most demigods didn't care about sentimentality. A party? Simon raised an eyebrow. I didn't join you for such trivial things. Simon sat down on his hind legs, casting a huge shadow over the demigods. Hart had no choice but to reveal his true form, a red dragon 100 meters long. The red dragon's scales were thick and robust. Its claws were sharp, and its eyes were piercing. Its wings were broad and powerful. At a glance, it was clear that this was an extremely powerful red dragon. Hart flew through the air and approached Simon. Kid, don't be so serious. We're already demigods. We have plenty of time. As long as the pigmen condense the godhood of plunder, we can obtain the power of a true god and fight against the star goddess. As demigods and dragons, we have long lifespans. Even if it takes millions of years, we won't age or die. Now we can relax a bit. Chapter 209 A Familiar of the Star Goddess. Child, come on, let's have a fun party. Hart extended the invitation again. Simon's expression was indifferent, he ignored Hart flying around in front of him. He turned to Bam. How does the Star Alliance plan to fight against the Star Goddess? With your lax attitude, with your lazy attitude of throwing parties as soon as newcomers arrive. Simon looked at him with obvious disappointment. Simon's words immediately displeased the demigods. Hey, Mad Dragon Simon, what do you mean by that? Do you really think we only hold meetings and parties at headquarters for entertainment? As one of the three true gods of the southern continent, the Star Goddess naturally has her own demigod followers. We have already located the Twin Moon Wizard's position, and we can go and take her down anytime we want, the demigods said angrily. If we weren't worried about alerting her, we would have killed the Twin Moon Wizard long ago. Why would it be up to you, a newcomer, to spout nonsense? The demigods were clearly very dissatisfied with Simon. However, Simon merely glared at them. An oppressive aura and conqueror's haki instantly swept over the demigods present. They immediately fell silent, their mouths clenched tightly. HMPH, a bunch of trash. Simon's expression remained cold. You keep saying you've found the location of the twin moon wizards, but what about your other followers? Could it be that the star goddess, a true god, only has one demigod follower? Hart descended from the sky, looking up at Simon. Child, I know you have a lot of complaints about us, but we haven't let our guard down. We've been actively targeting the star goddess, we've located the twin moon wizards, discovered the Star Lake demigod's trail, and the mountain Nod and Starlight Dragon demigods have been secretly ambushed by our people, ready to be killed at any time, Hart said smugly. The 4 demigods he had just mentioned were all demigods under the star goddess's command, who had condensed divine essence. They were powerful, loyal to the star goddess, and had received true god power from her. If they could kill these 4 demigod servants, it would be equivalent to severing the star goddess's left and right arms. Then what are we waiting for? Simon grinned menacingly. Let's set off with all our might to find the Star Lake demigod, pinpoint his location, and then kill the star goddess's servants in one fell swoop. He licked his lips with his scarlet tongue. I'd love to taste the star goddess's servants too. Simon's face showed anticipation. Hart shook his head. No, it's not time yet. Besides these 4 demigod servants, we've discovered something even more important. Oh? Something even more important? What could be more important than killing the star goddess's demigod servants? Simon asked curiously. Hart hesitated, then looked down at Bam. Bam stepped forward and spoke. You should also know about the star lions. There are 7 star lions in total. These 7 star lions are all only at the legendary level, but what's very strange is that their auras are completely identical, almost as if they were carved from the same mold. The star goddess is using these 7 lions for some kind of experiment, and recently, for some reason, she bestowed upon them true god power, causing their strength to surge several levels. Simon chuckled awkwardly. He assumed it was because he had killed the star lions too many times, and the star goddess would expend energy to revive them each time, thus granting them true god power. The true god power obtained from these 7 star lions is even more than that from 4 demigods followers. Although the pigment apostles haven't yet condensed their divine colors, they still possess extremely powerful plundering abilities. If we can capture these 7 lions and let the pigment apostles devour them, not only will we severely damage the star goddess's vitality, but we might even be able to use this to allow the pigment apostles to directly condense their plundering divine colors. Bam spoke with great enthusiasm and eloquence. Simon's eyes lit up. He thought this method was highly feasible. Currently, the Black Dragon Empire occupies 2/3 of the southern continent and has banned the construction of the Star Tower. Therefore, the Star Lions reside in the northern kingdom of Aura. Simon is currently dispatching his Black Dragon Legion to attack the kingdom of Aura. However, the kingdom of Aura possesses ancient dragon relics and has created powerful dragon people soldiers. These dragon people soldiers are fearless and wield immense dragon power. This power seems to be a strong counter to the Black Dragon Legion's dragon prayer. Even the Black Dragon Legion, which conquered the kingdom of Seal, is finding it difficult to conquer the kingdom of Aura in a short time. If the Star-Picking Alliance intervenes, the kingdom of Aura will undoubtedly perish instantly. However, at that time, the ancient dragon relics beneath the kingdom of Aura will be exposed. Let me go. I'll go and capture the 7 star lions, Simon volunteered. His body length has exceeded 1,000 meters, and Simon's physical strength has undergone a leap forward. This gives him confidence that even if he encounters the star goddess again, he can escape unscathed. Bam hesitated. You know yourself, the kingdom of Aura is practically the star goddess's stronghold. Going there alone, all alone, would likely be dangerous. Simon thought for a moment and then said again, in that case, let them all go together. He casually pointed to the group of demigods beside him. The demigods were all innocently caught in the crossfire. Come on, that's the star goddess. Without absolute strength to confront her, aren't we just courting death? Let's stick to the original plan. Find the Star Lake demigod's location first, then deal with the 4 demigods' followers before capturing the 7 star lions, the demigods grumbled. Not a single demigod was willing to go to the kingdom of Aura and face the star goddess. The Red Fox demigod and the Rhino demigod had both died. Whether at Simon's hands or the star goddess's, It was enough to prove that facing the star goddess was an extremely difficult task. On the contrary, staying in the Sky City, which allows for spatial travel, they can leisurely hold small meetings and parties while searching for the location of the Star Lake demigod. Isn't that wonderful? How, I didn't expect you all to be so cowardly, Simon mocked. The demigod from before couldn't hold back any longer. Mad Dragon Simon, you're just a junior who recently joined the Alliance. How dare you speak to a senior like that? Simon rolled his eyes and used reverse psychology. Then do you dare to go? The demigod's originally very tough tone softened immediately, and he stammered, unable to speak. He wasn't stupid, going there would be suicide. Seeing the silence, Bam had no choice but to take the initiative and suggest, then let's follow the old rules and draw lots. The demigod who draws will go to the kingdom of Aura with Mad Dragon to capture the Star Lion. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 210 Dragonman Soldiers. The Kingdom of Aura, Black Mine City. A city renowned for its abundant mineral resources and weapon forging. But now, this Black Mine City is engulfed in flames and smoke. Kill, exterminate the thugs of the Black Dragon Empire. Leave no one alive, show no mercy to these bastards who have invaded our homeland. Dragon soldiers, attack. In front of the city, the warriors of the Black Dragon Empire and the army of the Kingdom of Aura clashed. The Black Dragon Legion grew stronger with each battle, and the defenders of the Kingdom of Aura quickly fell into a disadvantageous position. Fortunately, they had a secret weapon. A dragon soldier, over 20 meters tall, was pushed forward. The dragon soldier was covered in thick dragon scales, possessing immunity to magic and extremely high physical defense. It was a product of the Kingdom of Aura's scientific research, originally intended to deal with the kingdoms of Mole and Seal, but plans had changed. These two kingdoms were destroyed by the suddenly appearing Black Dragon in just a few months. Dragon soldiers, attack. A general severed the chains binding the dragon soldier. The dragon soldier, whose eyes had been tightly closed, suddenly opened them, revealing a pair of scarlet dragon eyes. Roar, the dragon soldier roared and began its charge forward. Because it had been bound by chains for so long, the dragon soldier was unaccustomed to walking on two legs and could only crawl on its hands and feet. It had no wings, and its entire body exuded a violent aura, making it no different from a wild beast. The dragon soldier rampaged across the battlefield like a war chariot. Its legendary power instantly reversed the tide of battle. Bray, that big guy is yours, Elena's voice rang out. Bray, standing beside her, replied sternly, yes, your majesty. Bray, clad in black armor, slowly stepped forward. The lizardman's scales grew even thicker. Sizzle lightning flashed as the lizardman Bray imitated Simon, creating a new combat technique. His body crackled with lightning, his figure dashing. Lord Simon's thunder spear, Bray roared, red lightning surging on his wrist, instantly condensing into a long spear of red lightning. Bray's legs buckled, even his metal armor deformed from the bulging muscles on his thighs. Bang! Bray pushed off forcefully, the earth cracking open as he leaped into the air, his lightning spear aimed at the dragon soldier. However, the dragon soldier merely raised his right hand. His palm made contact with the spear. The dragon soldier's scales possessed a powerful immunity to magic. As the spear struck, the electric current was absorbed by its scales. With a powerful current absorbed, the dragon soldier's scales glowed, and it opened its mouth, spewing a terrifying breath of fire. The flames swept through, blasting Bray away. Bray, are you alright? Goblin asked worriedly. Bray shook his head. I'm fine, but this dragon soldier is too strong, and it's immune to magic attacks. We need magic power so great that it can't withstand it to destroy it, but clearly none of us have that much magic power. Just as the three of them were struggling with the dragon soldier, a huge shadow appeared in the sky. A familiar voice rang out, instantly giving the three a sense of security. My knights, you have disappointed me somewhat for failing to conquer the kingdom of Aura for so long. Simon's figure suddenly appeared. He descended from the sky, landing on the battlefield. He stood tall and imposing, exuding an aura of inviolable majesty. His stature was tall and powerful, like a mountain. His aura was strong, and his dragon might was vast. In Sky City, The demigods of the Star Alliance were unable to choose a demigod to participate in the operation for a long time. In addition, it took a considerable amount of time to locate the Star Lions. Finally, after confirming the location of the Star Lions, the 7 demigods set off together. Simon originally intended to go directly to the capital of the Kingdom of Aura, but he sensed the aura of his 3 knights along the way, so he stopped to check on them. A considerable amount of time had passed since Simon sent the Black Dragon Legion to attack the Kingdom of Aura, but the Black Dragon Legion's progress was very slow. Lord Black Dragon, we are very ashamed. The dragon soldiers secretly developed by the Kingdom of Aura can absorb magic and are enormous in size, which is a great counter to our 3 abilities. The 3 knights knelt on one knee before Simon. Upon seeing Simon's enormous form, the soldiers of the Kingdom of Aura were all speechless with shock. It took them a long while to recover. Wow, what a huge black dragon! Is this the infamous Black Dragon of the Black Dragon Empire, the one who single-handedly destroyed the capital of the Moor Kingdom, and even the Star Goddess couldn't subdue him? Simon's name was renowned not only in the divine realm but also among mortals. Simon glanced around and saw the prominent Dragon Man soldiers on the battlefield. The Dragon Man soldiers, who had been unstoppable on the battlefield, trembled with fear at Simon's mere gaze. Simon thought for a moment, then flipped his wrist, revealing 2 eyeballs. Dragon Eyes of Inspiration. Through the Dragon Eyes of Inspiration, Simon saw the soul of the Dragon Man soldier. Simon's eyes narrowed. Within the Dragon Man soldier's body, a human soul was wailing in agony. Furthermore, Simon also saw the Dragon Man soldier taking shape. So that's how it is. They're soldiers created using dragon blood. Although their souls are still human, their bodies are essentially those of dragon descendants, because they were created from humans. Their souls suffer day and night. But none of these soldiers resisted this modification experiment. Upon learning of the Black Dragon Empire's invasion of their homeland, countless warriors of the Kingdom of Aura volunteered to join the modification experiment. Their souls endured pain, their minds were tormented. To prevent harming their own people, they would willingly be bound by chains when the war ended. Dragon soldiers, all of them are worthy of respect. So, Simon stepped forward and swallowed a dragon soldier whole, consumed a legendary dragon soldier, size plus 10 meters. The taste is so-so, not as good as a demigod, but for a legendary modified creature, it's not bad. Simon gave a sensible evaluation. The meat has a good chewiness, and the combination of dragon blood and human soul creates a unique flavor. Simon was like a professional gourmet, commenting with great expertise. The dragon soldiers were instantly annihilated, leaving the warriors of the Kingdom of Aura stunned. In contrast, the Black Dragon Legion's morale soared, and they began to launch their own attack. Without the dragon soldiers' obstruction, the Black Dragon Legion stormed into the city, utterly crushing the Kingdom of Aura's army. Even if the Kingdom of Aura wanted to mobilize dragon soldiers from nearby cities, there wasn't enough time. Chapter 211 Abandoning my heart here. This city has fallen to the Black Dragon Empire, but the Kingdom of Aura should still have quite a few of these dragon men soldiers. Time is of the essence. The other demigods have already begun their operations. I need to hurry to the Aura capital to capture the Star Lion, then explore the ancient dragon ruins to complete the system mission. With that thought, Simon sprang into action. His figure transformed into a streak of red lightning, heading straight for the capital. While his 3 followers, Goblin, Bray, and Elena, were only slightly stronger than ordinary legendary figures, they were still no match for Dragon Men soldiers, a legendary opponent that countered prayer magic. However, Simon didn't really need followers. Their purpose was simply to help him with tedious tasks. For example, the little elf Andy was responsible for gardening. Simon couldn't do these chores himself, so entrusting them to followers was perfectly appropriate. He had originally planned to have the 3 gluttonous knights directly conquer the Kingdom of Aura, let them explore the ancient dragon ruins, and he could complete the system mission while he relaxed. However, he hadn't expected the Kingdom of Aura to use the ancient dragon ruins to develop powerful dragon men soldiers, greatly increasing the difficulty for the Black Dragon Legion's conquest and preventing them from conquering the kingdom. Plans can't keep up with changes. Since I'm going to Aura Royal City anyway, I might as well complete the system quest. Simon flew at top speed. In just a moment, Simon arrived at Aura Royal City. Simon's shadow expanded under the sun's rays, eventually covering the entire sky above the city. Why did it suddenly get dark? The residents of Aura Royal City all had the same thought. Before they could react, the earth shook violently. Boom! A deafening roar echoed throughout the entire city. A colossal object suddenly descended, smashing a deep crater into the ground. Smoke and dust billowed. Houses couldn't withstand such a powerful impact and collapsed with a crash. When the smoke cleared, everyone realized that a black dragon had crashed into the city. Just because of the black dragon's arrival, countless people died instantly in the entire city. It's not much different from other royal cities, but the ancient dragon ruins piqued my curiosity. Simon decisively took out his dragon eye of inspiration. Infused with the power of faith, Simon gained the vision of the dragon eye of inspiration. Scanning the royal city grounds with a dragon eye of inspiration, Simon spotted a surging energy fluctuation. Found it, Simon raised his right hand high, flames and crimson lightning dancing upon it. Raging dragon claw, Simon slammed it down, and the raging dragon claw, capable of tearing through space, instantly created a large crater in the ground. The king of Aura Royal City reacted immediately, mobilizing the army and dispatching Dragon Man soldiers. As the capital of the nation, its defenses were naturally very strong. Three-headed Dragon Man soldiers and hundreds of thousands of troops immediately rushed out. Simon was surrounded, but he paid no heed, continuing to dig. Each dig created a pit tens of meters deep. Hard rocks were no different from soft sand before Simon's claws. Evil dragon, how dare you invade the royal city? You are truly audacious, a general angrily rebuked Simon. Simon, however, remained engrossed in digging, ignoring the human general's shouts. Seeing that Simon ignored him, the general became even more enraged. Attack! Archers fired in unison, mages unleashed various powerful spells, and warriors charged forward. The three-headed dragon soldiers also gathered their strength, spewing forth raging flames. Under their onslaught, Simon's digging finally came to a halt. He turned his head with displeasure. All that chattering, so noisy, even more annoying than mosquitoes in summer. Conqueror's haki was instantly unleashed. A terrifying dragon's might swept over countless soldiers present. Whoosh whoosh whoosh, these soldiers were like dominoes being knocked over. A chain reaction occurred, and row after row fell backward. 3 more delicious meals have arrived. Simon's eyes suddenly lit up. He grabbed 3 unconscious dragon soldiers and began to devour them. Devouring 3 dragon soldiers, size plus 30 meters. After eating the dragon soldiers, Simon continued digging. King Aura's face turned ashen. That black dragon's goal is the dragon tomb. Its strength is too great. We are no match for it. Quickly, go to the Star Tower and ask the Lion Goddess for help. The ancient dragon ruins contain supreme mysteries, and the Star Goddess naturally knows about the hidden tomb beneath the kingdom of Aura. If it weren't for the Star Goddess's support, how could mere mortals have developed dragon soldiers far surpassing ordinary legendary powerhouses? Simon dug rapidly. In just a few breaths, he had descended hundreds of meters into the deep pit. Thump 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 as he dug deeper, Simon's heart pounded wildly. Something is affecting my heart. Simon paused. My physical body has already surpassed that of a demigod, yet there are treasures that can affect my heart. This is truly intriguing. Simon increased his digging speed. Boom. The ground collapsed, revealing a massive tomb. Simon used his dragon eyes of inspiration to examine it. Countless dragon corpses lay within this tomb. There were wyverns, giant dragons, and flying dragons, but not a single ancient dragon's remains. It's called the Ancient Dragon Ruins, but there are no ancient dragon corpses. Let me see what secrets this ruin holds. Devouring godhood, devour. Simon plunged his head into the tomb. His mouth opened, and a suction force emanated, drawing countless dragon corpses into his mouth and devouring them completely, devouring a large number of corpses, size plus 20 meters. As he continued to devour the corpses, Simon's heart pounded faster and faster. A blood-red script appeared in the tomb. Leave my heart here. The script continued to merge, eventually transforming into a pounding heart. The heart was enormous, even as large as Simon's head. One could imagine the size of its owner. Simon's breathing quickened. Instantly, he understood that this was a legacy unique to the dragon race. No wonder there were so many dragon corpses here, and no wonder the black rat demigod hadn't taken this heart. Even I can be affected. This is probably the heart of a true God's dragon. Simon drooled, unable to control his appetite, and opened his blood-red maw to bite into the heart. Just as Simon was about to devour the dragon's heart, a familiar voice came from above. Stop. This is the territory of the Star Goddess, Black Dragon. Whatever your purpose is here, Please leave immediately." Simon grabbed the heart and tossed it into the realm of the gods, then looked up. Before him stood a strangely shaped male lion. Its entire body was ethereal, like a mysterious galaxy, its skin shimmering with starlight, and its mane gleaming like dazzling stars. Simon grinned upon recognizing the speaker. "I was just about to look for you, but you've delivered yourself to my doorstep. What a stroke of luck." Chapter 212. The little lion has been seen for a long time. The star lion strode through the air. His ethereal form appeared and disappeared, shimmering with starlight that made him appear incredibly mysterious, arousing awe and curiosity. "Little lion, long time no see. Although your auras are exactly the same, you must be the star lion named Cheyenne Quinn." Simon grinned, a smile as if he were seeing a long-lost friend. The star lion froze. He looked down, and the more he looked, the more familiar Simon seemed. Suddenly, the star lion's pupils dilated, an unbelievable thought flashing through his mind. You, could you be that black dragon from back then? No, impossible. Even if that black dragon was strong, it couldn't have grown to this level in such a short time. You're trying to fool me, the star lion muttered to himself. Fear and disbelief filled the lion's face. Seeing this, Simon laughed. Ha ha ha, little lion, you're still quite interesting. Simon laughed heartily, his voice cheerful and genuinely pleased. Little lion, do you remember what I told you back then? Simon looked up at the star lion in the sky, a peaceful smile on his face. The star lion blinked, momentarily unable to recall, his face showing confusion, doubt, a complex mix of emotions that made his thoughts difficult to discern. Simon grinned menacingly. I said I'd kill you every time I saw you. How could you forget something so important? Simon unlocked his gaze on the star lion. Being targeted by a dragon god with over 50% of his divine potential and a physical strength far surpassing that of a demigod, the star lion trembled. As a feline, when faced with an overwhelming enemy and with no way out, a lion could only beg for mercy. The star lion lay down, exposing its belly, and waved its small paws twice. Meow, Lord Black Dragon, please spare me. Meow, please, please. Meow. The king of Aura Kingdom was utterly astonished by the scene. Normally, Star Lion resides within the tower. Even for a king like Simon, a mere mortal, to see him requires groveling and groveling as he climbs the star tower. And even then, Star Lion maintains an aloof and haughty demeanor, unlike his current act of coquettishness. Ha ha ha, little lion, do you think coquettishness will work on me? Simon laughs loudly, spreading his wings. With a whoosh, a gale sweeps away the surrounding rubble and the unconscious soldiers of the Kingdom of Aura. With another flap of his wings, an even fiercer gale howls, and Simon soars into the sky. Star Lion knows his resistance is futile, yet he still resists. Simon strikes with a palm, grabbing at Star Lion. The latter seems locked in place, unable to move. Faced with an enemy as powerful as Simon, whom he cannot contend with, Star Lion, possessing only legendary strength, unhesitatingly unleashes his trump card. Goddess, save me! Star Lion's cry for help echoes throughout the entire royal city. His heart-wrenching screams revealed the incredible tenacity of his will to survive. As a legendary powerhouse, Star Lion possessed keen intuition. He realized that Simon's strength was no longer what it once was. If Simon's killing of Star Lion before was like a cat hunting a mouse, then Simon now was like a nuclear bomb detonating on the mouse. Starlight appeared in the sky, quickly weaving the tall and majestic figure of the star goddess. The goddess appeared and immediately questioned him with fury. Black Dragon Simon, you escaped my clutches last time. Yet you dare to provoke me again. You are far too arrogant. You have slaughtered innocent humans and committed countless evils. Today, even for the sake of this world, for the innocent humans you have cruelly murdered, I will surely slay you here. The star goddess, righteous and awe-inspiring, occupied the moral high ground, glaring at Simon with righteous indignation. In an instant, the faith of all the humans in the entire Aura Kingdom towards the star goddess became even more devout. As expected of the star goddess, Goddess, please slay that evil dragon and avenge our fallen kin. Damn dragon, the goddess has descended. You are doomed today. Humans rallied around the star goddess, hurling insults at Simon. However, Simon completely ignored them, turning a deaf ear to their words. He grabbed the star lion with incredible speed. Even the star goddess hadn't expected Simon's speed to increase so drastically. The black dragon has grown stronger again. The star goddess was astonished. How long had it been since they last met? Simon's strength had increased several levels. Is it because his size has grown? Has he devoured another demigod? The star goddess focused her gaze. With her true god power, she immediately noticed the changes in Simon. Keeping this guy alive will only cause endless trouble. Today, I must kill him here. The star goddess's eyes narrowed, and the power of law within her rapidly gathering. Faced with Simon's rapid growth, even the star goddess, now a true god, felt a sense of crisis. Indeed, a terrifying growth rate. At this rate, I'm afraid another true god will emerge in the southern continent within a few years. The star goddess narrowed her eyes, her killing intent palpable. Clearly, as long as one condenses a divine spark and slowly develops their followers, even a demigod can perfect their divine spark, gradually breaking through mythology and becoming a true god. But why, after tens of thousands of years, is there still only 3 true gods in the southern continent? The reason is simple: once a divine spark is perfected, it becomes very difficult for another true god to kill another. At that point, the continent's resources will be taken away. Even true gods don't want their cultivation resources to decrease. Once a demigod with a high degree of divine spark perfection is discovered, a true god will not hesitate to kill them. Simon's growth rate made the star goddess feel threatened. To prevent a new true god from appearing in the southern continent, it must be nipped in the bud. Star River waterfall, laws condensed, and a dazzling waterfall of starlight descended from the sky. Star River waterfall was Star Lion's killing move. However, the same move, used by different people, produced vastly different effects. The Star Lion's Star River waterfall was like a real waterfall, magnificent and imposing. But in the hands of the star goddess, this galaxy waterfall was like the Milky Way in the vast ocean of the universe, dazzling and boundless. This power, is the goddess really going all out? The Star Lion, held in Simon's hand, was still alive. Simon needed to take it back to the blood god's pig apostle to absorb the star god's power, so he couldn't kill it yet. I didn't expect a black dragon to have grown to the point where the goddess needed to get serious, but now the black dragon should be doomed. Chapter 213 7 Star Goddesses. Seeing the star goddess unleash the Star River waterfall imbued with the power of laws, the Star Lion had already decided that the black dragon Simon was a dead dragon. In the sky, a vast expanse of stars slowly descended. The dazzling, beautiful starry river illuminated the entire sky. Countless people craned their necks in anticipation. Goddess, go. Defeat this evil dragon. Goddess, go. The humans of Aura Kingdom began to cheer for the star goddess. The star goddess's tall, ethereal figure smiled, seemingly thoroughly enjoying the sensation. The Star River waterfall continued to fall from the sky. Even before contact, the terrifying energy already caused Simon to ache all over. Ha ha ha, black dragon, you dare to grab me. You've angered the goddess. You're doomed. This Star River waterfall will crush you completely, leaving not even ashes. The Star Lion was held in Simon's palm, only its head protruding. Simon glanced down and casually retorted, won't you get crushed to death too? The Star Lion was stunned. Simon scoffed, how utterly foolish, but I won't die, little lion. Let me show you my current strength, Simon roared, his body crackling with lightning. He activated the 20x Kaioken technique. Over 5 million units of faith power surged within him, amplifying the skill's effect by 50,000 times. Simon's aura rapidly expanded. The Star Lion, held in his hand, felt it acutely. Holy crap! Holy crap! Holy crap! If it weren't for the Star Lions for being composed of illusory starlight, it would have been terrified by Simon's aura and lost its fur. Simon placed the Star Lion in his left hand and looked up at the sky. A waterfall of stars cascaded down, like the Milky Way falling from the heavens. Thundercloud sky shaking wings, red lightning crackled around Simon's wings, flashing crimson light. With a mere flap of his wings, Simon transformed into a beam of red light, soaring into the sky, facing the challenge head-on. Ancient Dragon Thunder Spear, he clenched his right hand, lightning appearing on it, instantly forming a red lightning spear thousands of meters long. Simon, spear in hand, charged fearlessly towards the Star River waterfall. His spear solidified, and he swung it, the lightning spear aimed at the waterfall. Even though Simon now claimed to be the strongest demigod, he was still only a demigod, and there was still a significant gap between him and a true god. The powerful ancient dragon lightning spear clashed with the Star River waterfall. Energy erupted, and shock waves surged. Buildings in the royal city were blown away, and the clouds in the sky retreated. The attacks of both sides continuously consumed each other, The ancient dragon lightning spear dimmed, and the Star River waterfall shrank. Finally, with a bang, the ancient dragon lightning spear completely dissipated, while the Star River waterfall remained mostly intact. Simon, however, had no choice but to dodge, gathering the star line into his fists to protect it. He spread his arms, using his body to withstand the attacks. The Star River waterfall relentlessly bombarded Simon's massive body. Under the attack of a true god, even the enormous Simon was swept off the ground. Simon gritted his teeth, continuing to resist the impact. The earth cracked open, and Simon was forced downwards by the impact, even being pushed into the ancient dragon ruins beneath the capital of Aura. The ruins shattered, becoming chaotic. Simon's scales were worn away, blood spilled, and he appeared battered and bruised, but as the force of the impact diminished, he smiled. "It's time to end this." Simon's expression twisted with pain. Flames and lightning swirled in his right hand. Raging dragon claw, Simon tore at the Star River waterfall, which had shrunk to the size of a river, with all his might, shattering it completely. Simon looked up at the star goddess and burst into laughter. "Ha ha ha, the strength you've cultivated step by step is weak and unsustainable, while the power I've absorbed is hard and unstoppable. Star goddess, today it's your Star River waterfall, next time it'll be your life." Simon laughed arrogantly. Then, he flapped his wings and turned to leave. The star goddess's face turned ashen. My all-out attack was blocked by a demigod ant. This black dragon is growing faster and faster, and he's got his eye on the star lions, the key to my plan. Every time they're killed by the black dragon, their resurrection is quite troublesome. The star goddess waved her right hand, preparing to unleash another attack to hunt down Simon. But suddenly she paused. Cries for help came from other star lions and other areas. The star goddess instantly understood. "Are those clouds from the star-picking alliance?" the star goddess murmured. She didn't stop and continued her pursuit of Simon. While fleeing, Simon took out a red dragon scale to communicate with Sky City. "Heart, quickly have Bam control Sky City to save me. I've been targeted by the star goddess." He withstood the star goddess's attack. Fortunately, Simon's physical body had become even stronger after breaking through 1,000 meters. Not only did he not die, but he was still full of energy. Heart's phantom appeared on the red dragon scale, but Heart also looked extremely anxious at this moment. "As expected, you encountered the star goddess too." Simon paused. "What do you mean? Did the other demigods encounter the star goddess as well?" Heart nodded, his expression grave. "That's right, all 6 of them were attacked by the star goddess." Simon didn't seem too concerned. He continued his rapid escape while telling Heart, "It's just a clone. The star goddess here is my true form, wielding the power of laws. You guys come and support me." As Simon spoke, he glanced back. The star goddess was already in pursuit. With a flick of her finger, countless starlight transformed into meteors that hurtled towards them. Simon flapped his wings, dodging back and forth in the air. Despite his enormous size, Simon was incredibly agile. His size was both his advantage and his disadvantage. These meteors were incredibly fast. Even with Simon's best efforts to dodge, some starlight still struck him. It was both an advantage and a disadvantage and an advantage at the same time. The damage from the few meteors didn't affect Simon at all. He continued to fly rapidly through the air. Heart's expression on the red dragon scales didn't relax at all. Instead, it became even more serious. The other 6 demigods encountered star goddesses who could also use the power of laws. These star goddesses are all true forms who have mastered the laws. This news instantly overwhelmed Simon's mind, leaving him somewhat bewildered. That's not right. Laws can only be used through a divine spark. The star goddesses' avatars don't have divine sparks, so how can they use the power of laws? Simon pondered deeply, unable to understand why the star goddesses' avatars could also wield the power of laws. Unless the star goddess divided her divine spark into 7 parts, it doesn't make sense how she could allow her avatars to use the power of laws. Even if divine sparks can't be divided, and even if they were, the star goddess's strength should be divided into 7 parts, so why is her strength completely unaffected? Chapter 214 Twin Moons. Simon was bewildered. But he didn't have much time to think. The star goddess was already catching up. "Draw a prison of stars," the star goddess gestured a few times in the air. The power of the laws of stars gathered in the air. Several stars appeared out of thin air around Simon, who was flying at high speed. This trick again. Simon flapped his wings violently, increasing his speed and instantly exceeding the speed of sound. But it was meaningless. No matter how fast he flew, the stars were always around him, like a piece of chewing gum that he couldn't shake off. These stars connected to form a line, eventually constructing a huge cube that enveloped Simon. This trick won't work, Star Goddess. It seems you don't learn your lesson. Simon turned his head and smiled mockingly. The Star Goddess was not affected by this. Try it and you'll see if it works. As she spoke, she clenched her right hand in the air. The starlight cage began to shrink, attempting to crush Simon directly. Raging dragon claw, blazing flames and dazzling lightning appeared on Simon's hand. He stretched out his right claw, but unexpectedly failed to break the cage. Now it was the Star Goddess's turn to mock. Foolish black dragon, I already knew your claws were powerful enough to tear through space, so I naturally added defensive measures to them. The same move, once used, is easily countered by an opponent. Everyone here is a top-tier powerhouse, possessing not only exceptional talent but also immense combat experience. An attack method that has been countered by the enemy will naturally be improved. HMPH, so what if the defenses are enhanced? I still have a way to break through, Simon said, opening his blood-red maw to bite down. Devouring godhood, absolute tier. Simon opened his blood-red maw and fiercely bit down. Before the law of devouring, even with enhanced defenses, the starlight cage could not withstand the power of the law. With a crisp crack, the cage shattered like glass. The devouring law, truly a powerful law. The Star Goddess raised an eyebrow, activating the power of the law she had previously used within the starlight cage. Star law, infinite starlight. Under the Star Goddess's active control, the starlight cage erupted with dazzling starlight. The parts Simon had bitten off rapidly repaired themselves. Simon continued to bite. The starlight he had gnawed off being converted into energy through the devouring law to restore his strength. The Star Goddess also accelerated her recovery. For a moment, the two sides were locked in a stalemate. Heart, quickly get bound to control Sky City and come here. Simon took a moment to contact Heart through the red dragon scales. Heart's phantom appeared on the scales. Heart's expression was somewhat serious. Simon, hold on, we're on our way. The other demigods are also requesting support. Even if Sky City can traverse space, it will still take some time. Simon nodded upon hearing this. He was very confident in his strength. Although Simon couldn't defeat the Star Goddess, he could still delay her for a while. There was only one Sky City, but none of the demigods expected that there were 7 Star Goddesses. The demigods who joined the Star-Picking Alliance were all demigods who had already condensed their divine sparks. Their individual strength was considerable among demigods, but they couldn't compare to Simon, let alone the Star Goddesses, who were true gods. Bam and Heart could only try their best to save these demigods. What, are you communicating with your other allies? The Star Goddess's face showed a mocking expression. She thoroughly enjoyed the thrill of manipulating the weak. Don't worry, Black Dragon Simon, you'll soon be reunited with them, and we'll meet in the afterlife together. With a thought, the Star Goddess caused the starlight cage to shrink rapidly. Not only that, while controlling the shrinking starlight cage, the Star Goddess, behind Simon's back, began to mobilize her power. Hidden magic arrays containing the power of laws were quietly set up in the surrounding space. The Star Goddess secretly rejoiced. The Sky City of the ancient dragon god, such a precious thing is too wasteful to be used by a group of demigods. Let me control it. The Star Goddess had already set her sights on the Sky City when she learned it was coming to save Simon. Therefore, the Black Dragon Simon couldn't die immediately. She had to at least delay until the Sky City arrived. I'll go easy on him a little, the Star Goddess said, her acting superb. The shrinking and regeneration speed of the starlight cage didn't slow down at all. But she deliberately didn't stop Simon's actions. Devouring godhood, little black hole, Simon tore at the starlight while simultaneously unleashing his second newly developed technique. A small black dot instantly formed, beginning to devour the starlight to grow stronger. As the little black hole formed, the suction force increased, pulling a large hole into the starlight cage. Simon seized the opportunity and rushed out. That trick again, the Star Goddess scrutinized the ever-growing black hole with a critical gaze. A move constructed from pure devouring laws. It grows larger by absorbing energy. Because it's pure law power, there's practically no limit to the energy it can absorb. The Star Goddess gave a fair assessment, a very good move, but the power-up time is too short. No enemy will let your black hole grow like that. With that, the Star Goddess reached out and squeezed, causing the starlight cage to explode, instantly obliterating the black hole. After doing all this, the star goddess's gaze locked onto Simon, who was now just a black dot in front of her. Black Dragon Simon, this time you won't escape my grasp. I will kill you, and I will take Sky City too. The star goddess's gaze was profound. I remember that direction is like Twin Moon's territory. The star goddess immediately began contacting her followers. Twin Moons, a black dragon over 1,000 meters long is heading your way. Stop it for me. Simon was flying rapidly. He knew that it wouldn't be so easy to shake off the star goddess, so he was fully focused, guarding against her attacks. Before Simon had flown for long, he unexpectedly discovered two full moons ahead. One moon was larger than the other, one behind the other. They emanated a cold aura, their light dazzling. Two moons. Simon paused for a moment, then realized, is that the Twin Moon Wizard, a follower of the star goddess? The two moons burst forth with blinding light. A figure wielding two staffs appeared and disappeared. Black Dragon, you have quite the audacity to provoke the goddess, the Twin Moon Wizard sneered. Simon didn't stop, roaring, a mere demigod dares to be so insolent before me. Die? Chapter 215 The Slacking Off Demigod. Twin moons bloomed in the sky. Moonlight swept across, crashing down on the 1,000-meter-long dragon. A mere demigod dares to be so insolent before me. Simon didn't stop there. With a flap of his wings, he swooped forward, simultaneously grabbing the two not-so-large moons with one hand. Bang! With a forceful squeeze, Simon actually crushed both moons. The Twin Moon Wizard, not far away, was dumbfounded. How is this possible? He couldn't believe it. The star goddess had already told him about the black dragon Simon's formidable strength. In addition, the Twin Moon Wizard had heard of Simon's reputation in the divine realm, so he used his full power from the start. As a follower of the star goddess, the Twin Moon Wizard possessed a staggering 5 million units of faith power, and had also received a sliver of true divine power from the star goddess. Not to mention being invincible among demigods, at least the number of demigods who could contend with him could be counted on two hands. Frosty Moon Divine Spark, Twin Moons Descend. The Twin Moon Wizard, somewhat unwilling to accept defeat, unleashed his killing move once more. His figure vanished, and two cold, full moons materialized once more, hurtling towards Simon. Simon merely glanced back, relaxing slightly only after seeing the star goddess was still some distance away. If it weren't for the inconvenience of having only one hand, I would have killed you, you nuisance. Get out of my way, Simon roared. His conqueror's haki and oppressive aura were unleashed simultaneously. The Twin Moon Wizard was momentarily stunned by this force. Fortunately, the two full moons had already materialized. Under the Twin Moon Wizard's control, they flew towards Simon again. Simon opened his mouth, revealing 2 rows of incredibly sharp teeth. I'll gladly accept these 2 moons. Devouring godhood. A terrifying suction force emanated from Simon's mouth, and to the Twin Moon Wizard's astonished expression, he willingly swallowed the 2 full moons. Boom! The twin moons exploded within Simon's body, causing his body to tremble slightly, but without any apparent effect. The shockwave from the explosion was then completely absorbed by the devouring godhood. This time, not only did it not harm Simon, it even helped him recover some of his strength. No, impossible. I have a full 5 million units of faith power, and I even used the divine power of the stars bestowed upon me by the goddess, the Twin Moon Wizard roared, as if he could forget what had just happened after saying it. Simon sneered disdainfully, it's just a wisp of divine power, but your strength is not bad. You'll become my food. After glancing back once more and confirming that the star goddess had not yet reached him, Simon pounced directly on the Twin Moon Wizard. The Twin Moon Wizard's true form was an orange cat. He held 2 staffs, stood on 2 legs, and wore a black wizard's robe with gold thread patterns, looking majestic and wise. But when he saw Simon pounce on him, he was terrified. The goddess didn't say the black dragon would be this ridiculously strong. My divine essence is almost half complete, yet I couldn't even harm it. This black dragon's physical body is terrifying, I'm no match for it. Right, I'll find a way to fool them. I'll pretend I tried my best to stop it, but the black dragon was too strong, and I couldn't stop it. The Twin Moon Wizard couldn't disobey his superior's orders. But he had a way to deal with him. Frosty Moon Divine Essence, Shadow of Moonlight. The Twin Moon Wizard's staff flashed, and then he lunged at Simon. A great sword of moonlight materialized in his staff, Frosty Moon Gale Slash. The twin moon wizard, wielding the sword with both hands, slashed down at Simon. Simon simply opened his blood-red maw and swallowed the twin moon wizard whole, devoured the demigod twin moon wizard's clone, size plus 5 meters. It's actually a clone. Simon was somewhat surprised. But he didn't linger there, nor did he want to get entangled with the twin moon wizard, and continued to rush into the sky to leave quickly. The star goddess arrived. On the ground, the twin moon wizard emerged from behind a large tree, looking disheveled. Goddess, that black dragon was far too powerful. I lost in just one exchange. I'm sorry, I've let you down. With that, the twin moon wizard slowly took a step. With that one step, he swayed, unable to support himself any longer, and collapsed. The star goddess glanced at him. Twin moon, you've had a tough time. Then, the star goddess continued her pursuit of Simon. An hour after the star goddess left, the twin moon wizard finally got up, brushing the dust off himself. He wiped non-existent cold sweat from his forehead. Phew, another successful slacking off. Slacking off is definitely the way to go. The twin moon wizard looked up in the direction the star goddess had gone. The mad dragon Simon, what a terrifying fellow. If his divine essence weren't still incomplete, he might actually be able to fight the goddess. I'll have to stay far away from him in the future. The twin moon wizard scratched his head and began contacting the other demigods. Hey, this is Twin Moons. The goddess is chasing the mad dragon Simon. You absolutely mustn't go over there. The mad dragon's physical body is terrifying, a demigod simply can't handle it. A phantom of a flying dragon appeared before them. The dragon was in a sorry state, its scales all gone. The dragon complained, Twin Moons, why didn't you say so earlier? The mad dragon just happened to be passing through my territory. The goddess ordered me to stop it, and now I'm being chased and beaten by Simon. Besides this, 2 more phantoms of demigods familiars appeared. They both looked curiously at the Starlight Dragon's miserable state. Wow, Starlight, how did you get beaten so badly? Star Lake demigod asked with concern. Ha, Starlight, you've finally met your match, Mountain Knight gloated. The Starlight Dragon rolled its eyes. Never mind, that mad dragon is too fast, it's about to catch up. The phantoms vanished. On the other side, the Starlight Dragon transformed into Starlight, soaring through the air at supersonic speeds, relentlessly pursued by a colossal black dragon. Lightning flash, 20 times Kaioken, thundercloud sky-shaking wings, Chidori, the black dragon behind was rapidly increasing its aura. Its speed suddenly surged, and with lightning speed, its sharp palm stabbed directly at the Starlight Dragon. If it hit, the Starlight Dragon would likely be pierced through. The Starlight Dragon wasn't particularly large, only about 20 meters long, a normal dragon size, while Simon's hand was larger than it. The consequences of a hit were unimaginable. The Starlight Dragon immediately twisted its body to dodge the attack. However, the mad dragon Simon was simply too fast. The Starlight Dragon was a fraction too slow, and its wing was grazed. Under the terrifying lightning, a large portion was sliced off. Even a mosquito's leg is meat. Simon didn't stand on ceremony and swallowed half of the wing. Having swallowed the wing of the demigod Starlight Dragon, size increased by 1 meter. The Starlight Dragon's face turned ugly. My wing has been eaten. You lot, stop slacking off and come over here to help. Chapter 216 Dragon God's Heart. Black Dragon Simon, you can't escape my grasp. Surrender. The towering figure of the star goddess emerged from behind. She stood in the void, her entire form obscured, but her upper body alone was at least tens of thousands of meters tall. A colossal starlight phantom dominated the entire sky, like a colossal giant, towering and majestic. HMPH, catch up with me first. Simon turned back, mocking. Ahead of the star goddess and Simon, a dragon, entirely emerald green and shimmering with starlight, was fleeing in disarray. Although the Starlight Dragon had lost a wing, as a demigod, this didn't affect its flight speed. After Simon used 1,000 birds to sever the Starlight Dragon's wing, it immediately used its power to reconstruct a star wing. Its speed not only undiminished but even increased. Damn Twin Moons, why didn't you tell me such important information sooner? The Starlight Dragon cursed the Twin Moon Wizard inwardly. It fled with all its might. By now, it had been chased by Simon for a whole hour. Even though he was a demigod and stamina wasn't an issue, being chased for a full hour had left the Starlight Dragon exhausted. Starlight Roar. The Starlight Dragon turned and unleashed a burst of starlight breath at Simon. Simon didn't dodge, charging straight at the Starlight Dragon's breath. Seeing this, the Starlight Dragon trembled, cursing, "We're all dragons, all demigods, so why is your physical body so much stronger?" Simon sneered, "Even if you had wings, you couldn't escape today. Eating you will further perfect my godhood, you can't get away." With that, a huge heart appeared in Simon's hand. Thump thump thump, the heart pounded. Both dragons present were affected, their hearts beating in unison. "What is this?" the Starlight Dragon exclaimed in horror. "Such a dense life force, and it feels somewhat familiar. Is this the heart I obtained from the dragon tomb in the kingdom of Aura? But why didn't I detect it before?" The Star Goddess was puzzled, simultaneously awestruck by the power contained within the heart. The Star Goddess fell into thought, and coupled with her deliberate restraint, her speed slowed down for a moment. "You were indeed affected, ha ha ha," Simon laughed, seizing the opportunity when the Starlight Dragon paused for a moment. With a flap of its wings, it opened its massive maw and lunged, attempting to swallow the Starlight Dragon whole. Fortunately, the Starlight Dragon was a veteran demigod. To survive and avoid this fatal blow, a portion of its over 5 million units of faith began to burn. Starlight flash, the Starlight Dragon vanished instantly, leaving Simon with empty air. Behind her, the Star Goddess's mind was filled with countless thoughts. Suddenly, it dawned on her, legend has it that in ancient times, after the Dragon King Bahamut was defeated by the Angel King, his life gradually declined, and his body parts scattered throughout the world. This must be the Dragon King Bahamut's heart. No wonder I didn't find it right under my nose. The Star Goddess wasn't arrogant enough to compare herself to the Dragon King Bahamut. In this world, the strongest realm is already mythology. But even within the mythological realm, there are varying degrees of strength. For example, Bahamut, the Dragon King who ruled for millions of years in ancient times, was one of the world's top mythological powerhouses. Of course, that was in the past. As for the strongest person now, without a doubt, it is the Angel King who defeated Bahamut. These demigod ants are also lucky. The Star Goddess narrowed her eyes enviously. Sky City, Bahamut's heart, these should belong to me. The Star Goddess snorted 2 puffs of hot air, then quickly stepped forward and pointed a finger at Simon. With just a tap in the air, starlight condensed. With a whoosh, it tore through space and pierced Simon's body. Simon winced in pain. However, this injury was insignificant to Simon. Simon began to calmly analyze the situation. The Star Goddess shouldn't be this slow, but she really seems so calm and collected, as if she's toying with me. What exactly does she want to do? Simon couldn't guess the Star Goddess's thoughts for the time being. However, one thing was certain, after he took out the dragon heart, the Star Goddess attacked him. Could it be that she was after the dragon heart? The more Simon thought about it, the more likely it seemed. He suddenly grinned and held up the dragon heart in his hand. "Star Goddess, you want this heart, don't you?" Before the Star Goddess could answer, Simon continued, "The more you want it, the less I'll give it to you." After saying that, Simon swallowed the dragon heart whole, swallowed Bahamut's heart, size plus 100 meters, ancient dragon ruins exploration quest completed, lottery draw chance +1. After swallowing the heart, Simon's blood surged. Endless power surged forth. His bones crackled. Simon was growing at a speed visible to the naked eye. However, he was already very large, so this new growth didn't seem as significant. But it was a real increase of 100 meters. Power. I feel endless power surging up. Simon let out a comfortable groan. Starlight Dragon stared in disbelief. Holy crap, how did Simon the Mad Dragon's physical body get even stronger? The Star Goddess frowned. He ate Bahamut's heart? What a waste. Oh well, getting it to Sky City isn't bad. Seeing Simon devour Bahamut's heart, the Star Goddess felt a pang of regret. Draw a star cage? The Star Goddess flicked her fingers. Starlight appeared around Simon, constructing a hard cube that enveloped him. Simon was still immersed in the thrill of gaining power. When he came to his senses, the Starlight cage was already complete. Bahamut's heart, huh? I never expected it could directly increase my size by 100 meters. It's terrifying. Let me test my current power. Simon raised his right hand. Power condensed. His heart pounded wildly, accelerating his blood flow. Raging dragon claw. He swung with all his might, his claw grabbing the Starlight cage. Crackling sound cracks appeared in the Starlight cage imbued with the power of a true god. It's not just an increase in size, my strength has increased by at least 30-40%. If my godhood were an offensive type, I could probably break through this improved technique in one strike. Simon was quite satisfied with his current power. At the same time, the star goddess also noticed the cracks in the starlight cage. Just by consuming Bahamut's heart, your power has increased to this extent? Black Dragon Simon, you are too much of a threat. I must kill you here and now. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 217. I've already killed you 1,000 times over. The star goddess's eyes flashed with murderous intent. However, she didn't rush to make a move. She would kill the Black Dragon Simon. She would also take Sky City. Phew, this guy's locked up. He shouldn't be out anytime soon. Starlight Dragon breathed a sigh of relief. He began to contact the other 3 demigods familiars. Twin Moon, Star Lake, and Mountain, you guys come here right now. The goddess and I are dealing with Mad Dragon. That guy ate the heart of something and got stronger. I don't think even the goddess's starry prison can hold him. Just as Starlight Dragon was contacting the other 3 demigods familiars, Simon, who was trapped in the starlight cage, began to gather his strength to break free. System, give me a lottery. Simon used the system's reward as soon as he learned that the mission was completed. Lottery in progress. Congratulations on drawing the skill. Hado 4th, White Lightning. Skill description, a high-level spell used by Shinigami. Hado is an offensive spell in the Kido. The higher the number, the greater the difficulty and attack power. Hado number 4, White Lightning. The user releases a powerful lightning attack from their fingertips. Source, Bleach, a new offensive skill. Huh? I'd rather get some defensive skills, Simon muttered casually, but didn't pay much attention. Currently, his defense is boosted by the health provided by Feast and the recovery effect from devouring godhood, so he has nothing to worry about under normal circumstances. Now, let me break this damned cage. Simon began to gather power. His right hand shot out, and the surrounding devouring laws converged, eventually forming a small black dot. The black dot began to devour the starlight cage as soon as it appeared. The same old trick again, the star goddess didn't intervene. She couldn't reveal her intentions yet, but she also couldn't accidentally kill Simon. With the star goddess's permission, the small black hole successfully devoured a small piece of the cage, and Simon seized the opportunity, using the powerful raging dragon claw to break free. Boom boom boom, the earth trembled continuously. A giant hundreds of meters tall was striding towards them. Starlight, I'm here. Simon cast his gaze, sensing the divine power of the star goddess emanating from the newcomer. The newcomer was none other than one of the star goddess's demigod attendants, the Mountain Knight. The giant was completely naked, his muscles bulging, clearly a power-type demigod. I've arrived too, a star-filled lake reflected in the sky. The lake was deep, its contents unfathomable, shrouded in mystery. Oh dear, you two are here, I couldn't be late. The orange cat wizard, wielding 2 staffs, also slowly ascended through the air. The twin moon wizard appeared nonchalant, but his expression gradually turned serious upon seeing Simon. 4 demigods gathered ahead, while the star goddess stood tall behind them. The situation was precarious. Even Simon sensed the intense danger. This forced him to once again retrieve the red dragon scale and contact the Sky City. Heart, when will you arrive? Heart's phantom appeared from the red dragon scale. 3, 2, Heart began counting down inexplicably. 1, here it comes. The voice had barely faded when a crack appeared in the sky above Simon's head. The boundless Sky City emerged from the void. Child, we've come to take you, Heart's voice echoed from within the Sky City. Light descended. Simon's figure rose rapidly, flying towards the Sky City. Oh no, he's trying to escape. Stop him, the Starlight Dragon shouted. It unleashed a burst of starlight breath, but Simon easily swallowed it. Leave it to me. The Mountain Knight glanced at a small mountain nearby. Though called a small mountain, it was still several hundred meters high. The Mountain Knight bent his legs, his rough fingers digging into the mountain structure, and lifted it up. Mountain Giant projection, the Mountain Giant roared, hurling the small mountain towards the Sky City. The mountain is coming. Stop him, Bam said calmly from within the Sky City. I'll do it, the rhinoceros beetle demigod volunteered. He revealed his true form, a rhinoceros beetle over 10 meters tall. One horn to pry open the world, The rhinoceros beetle demigod unleashed his full power, channeling a million faiths, and light condensed on his massive horn. The rhinoceros beetle demigod charged forward, crashing headlong into a small mountain. Boom! A deafening roar echoed as the small mountain shattered into pieces. However, many fragments still hurtled towards Sky City. Leave the rest to me, another demigod stepped forward. He transformed into his original form, a giant, jet-black spider. The spider demigod spat out a large amount of silk. In an instant, these silk threads linked all the fragments of the small mountain together. Then, the spider demigod flicked it lightly, sending the fragments flying back. A lake that embraces all rivers, the Star Lake demigod immediately intervened. His body rapidly expanded, forming a vast lake that blocked all the flying fragments of the small mountain. It was unclear what the Star Lake demigod's true form was. The fragments of the small mountain sank directly into the lake, while the Star Lake demigod, after swallowing the entire mountain, showed no reaction. The small contest ended with neither side gaining the upper hand. Simon successfully returned to Sky City. He stood on his feet, gazing into the distance, meeting the star goddess's eyes. If I never see you again, then good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Simon even gave a smug bow. However, the star goddess, in contrast, remained calm and composed. If one looked closely, one could even see the corners of her mouth gradually turning upwards. Finally, she even threw her head back and laughed without regard for her image. Finally here. I've waited so long, and you've finally come. Hearing this, the demigods of the Star-Picking Alliance, including Simon, all changed their expressions drastically. Go quickly, Bam, quickly control the Sky City teleportation space, the demigods shouted anxiously. Bam broke out in a cold sweat. I've already tried to make the Sky City traverse space, but something is stopping it. The demigods were shocked. What? The star goddess laughed mockingly. With a thought, the magic circle she had prepared beforehand appeared before the demigods. The enormous magic circle covered the entire sky. No need to guess, I reinforced this space. Even the ancient dragon Sky City would need some time to break through. The star goddess was smug. Starlight appeared in the sky. Countless stars connected, forming a second star goddess. Once the Sky City breaks through space, stars appeared again, and a third star goddess appeared. A fourth, a fifth, a sixth, a seventh. The 7 star goddesses gathered here, saying in unison, I would have killed you 1,000 times over. Chapter 218 Supreme Insect Mother. Beyond the Void. A beautiful, alluring blue planet. A colossal centipede, its body covered in bones, circled the planet. My adult offspring are dead, their deaths horribly gruesome. The centipede sensed the death of its child, but felt no sorrow, only a flicker of anger. Useless thing, the centipede was enormous. It wriggled its body, circling the blue planet. Its length was enough to engulf half the planet. Just as the centipede was about to enter the blue planet, a massive canopy of trees blocked its way. Through the canopy, the centipede saw countless lives inhabiting the blue planet. Its eyes gleamed with longing. What delicious souls! So many years have passed, I crave them, I want to possess them all. Day after day, countless hours have gone by, and my desires haven't diminished with time. On the contrary, they've only grown stronger. I can't wait to enjoy these delicacies. The giant centipede tried to attack several more times, but each time it was blocked by the World Tree. This infuriated it. Damn World Tree, you deserve to die. You've monopolized this beautiful planet for countless years, enjoying so many delicious souls all by yourself. You deserve to die, the giant centipede cursed. Suddenly, it seemed to notice something. Your fruit is almost ripe, isn't it? Every 100,000 years, the World Tree accumulates laws that condense into fruit, at which time all living beings in the world will receive its gift. The World Tree absorbs souls to grow, and after maturing, it produces fruits of law to feed back to all things in the world. HMPH, you prevent me from enjoying these delicious souls, so I'll make sure you don't get your way. Let your fruit fall prematurely. The giant centipede began its assault on the World Tree. Under the constant impact of this centipede, comparable in size to a planet, the World Tree trembled, and some fruits on its branches began to sway precariously. On the Azure planet, on a continent in the south, an earth-shattering battle was raging. Stars continuously coalesced. 7 star goddesses materialized and emerged. Once Sky City breaks through space, I will have killed you 1,000 times over. The illusory starlight constructed the enormous figures of the star goddesses. Inside Sky City, Simon and the others were horrified, their faces filled with terror. 7 star goddesses. Although they already knew from heart that there were 7-star goddesses, the shock of seeing all 7 appear before them was indescribable. Great! The goddesses have all come. These guys are doomed. The 4 demigod servants were extremely excited, especially Starlight Dragon. Simon had eaten one of his wings, and Starlight Dragon still harbored resentment. If he could witness Simon's death, Starlight Dragon would be more than happy to see it. Ah, Lily, why are all the goddesses here? If I had known this, I would have kept hiding. Twin Moon Wizard yawned widely. Goddesses, there are 7 goddesses. I never thought I would see all 7 goddesses appear together. Star Lake Demigod's tone was extremely excited. Mountain Knight didn't speak, but the worship on his face revealed his emotions. The 7-star goddesses spoke in unison. This ancient treasure, Sky City, should be occupied by you demigods. Let me safeguard and use it on behalf of the ancient dragon clan. Their voices overlapped, echoing in the air. The 7-star goddesses jointly reached out their massive hands to grab Sky City. 14 massive hands attacked. On Sky City, the demigods could only use their individual abilities to try and block them. Stop her, hold her back, buy time for the alliance leader. The demigods took the initiative to attack. Fortunately, there were quite a few demigods who had joined the star-picking alliance, and the star goddesses had intentionally held back earlier, so no demigods died. We might not be able to escape. Be prepared to fight the star goddesses right here. Simon's expression was solemn as he released his left hand. The star lion, sensing the aura of the surrounding demigods, trembled with fear. This is the star lion I caught. Give it to the pig apostle to eat. Simon threw the star lion in his hand. Bam nodded slightly. He waved his right hand, and countless chains extended from Sky City to bind the star lion. The bound star lions also discovered their 6 other brothers. Blood pig, devour these lions, plunder their divine power, and eat all these celestial crystals as you please. Try to directly condense a godhood. Bam tossed out a large amount of celestial crystals. As the Lord of Sky City, Bam naturally possessed a vast amount of celestial crystals, including those from the plundering of laws. The Crimson Pigman stepped forward, looking up at the 7 bound star lions. Even though they were all at the legendary level, each of the 7 star lions possessed divine power bestowed by the star goddess, making each far stronger than the Crimson Pigman. But at this moment, the star lions were bound by chains, left to their mercy. The Crimson Pigman then began to devour these star lions. The scene was extremely bloody. On the other side, Simon also actively joined the battle. The star goddess's large hand struck. Simon stepped forward. Try out the newly learned skill. Facing the starlight hand, Simon slowly extended a finger. On the finger, the dragon nail was sharp, long, and incredibly thick. Hado number 4, White Lightning. Lightning coalesced, a dazzling lightning serpent charging towards the starlight hand. Black Dragon Simon, are you just tickling me? The star goddess mocked. Simon didn't take it seriously. Seeing the menacing starlight hand, he charged forward. Roar of the fire dragon, flames imbued with the explosive power of a dragon erupted. Simon was now not only physically powerful, but his strength was also terrifying. The flames raged, the intense heat incinerating everything. But the star goddess's attack was no joke either, directly surviving Simon's roaring breath as she grabbed towards the Sky City. The star goddess didn't take these demigods seriously. Even Simon, with his immense potential and deemed a threat by the star goddess, was no exception. The star goddess only had eyes for the Sky City. Her hand passed over Simon, reaching for the Sky City. If Simon couldn't stop the star goddess's hand, then the other demigods were even less likely to succeed. Even with all their abilities, the demigods still couldn't stop the star goddess's hand. 14 enormous starlight hands pressed down on the Sky City, attempting to drag it over. Just then, a sudden change occurred. Huge fruits rained down from the sky like a meteor shower. Even the star goddess was stunned by this sight. The world tree fruits have ripened prematurely. Chapter 219 Star Goddess. As the giant centipede-like creature crashed through the void, the fruits of the world tree began to fall one by one. The fruits streaked across the sky like shooting stars. How could the world tree fruits ripen prematurely? The star goddess wondered, perplexed. Her 14 arms had already grasped the Sky City. She was just one step away from claiming this ancient treasure for herself. But at that very moment, the world tree fruits ripened prematurely and began to fall. Countless fruits rained down from the sky, a truly magnificent sight. While the star goddess hesitated for a mere second, the other two goddesses did not. Darkness swept across the southern continent's sky, transforming into countless arms that began to pluck the world tree fruits. The earth trembled. Stone pillars shot into the sky, catching the world tree fruits. There were simply too many world tree fruits falling to count. The goddess of night and the earth mother immediately rushed to grab them. Because of the sheer number of world tree fruits, the two tree gods did not argue. Instead, they tacitly agreed not to interfere with each other. "Damn it, consider yourselves lucky," the seven star goddesses exclaimed. Between the world tree fruit and Sky City, the star goddesses unhesitatingly abandoned the latter, choosing the former. The seven star goddesses raised their hands to collect the world tree fruit. But a slow start meant a slow finish. The goddess of night and the earth mother had already collected a considerable amount of world tree fruit, while the star goddesses were only just beginning. "Haha, you star bitch, you're too slow to catch up with us," the goddess of night mocked. The earth surged, forming a female statue. The stone statue woman had a loving face, like a mother deeply loving her children. This was none other than the earth mother, who hadn't appeared in the southern continent for a long time. "Star goddess, let your true form appear. 7 avatars can't compete with us," the earth mother's voice was deafening, echoing across the heavens. The demigods on Sky City were startled once more upon hearing this. Simon nodded in agreement. "Just as I guessed, the 7 star goddesses are indeed just avatars. But if even avatars are this powerful, just how powerful are the true star goddesses?" The 7 star goddesses gritted their teeth, ignoring him, and focused on collecting the world tree fruits. The goddess of night sneered, "You star bitch, what are you pretending to be so aloof for? You must be frantic watching the world tree fruits being snatched away by me and the earth mother. Watch me destroy one of your avatars and severely weaken you." The goddess of night actually stopped collecting the world tree fruits and turned to attack the star goddesses. "Dark night goddess, the long night is endless." With a flick of her hand, the goddess of night unleashed a cloud of black mist towards the star goddesses. The energy in this black mist was contained, and no aura could be sensed. But as her old rival, the star goddesses knew the power of this move. "Goddess of night, you're ignoring the world tree fruits and attacking me instead," the star goddess roared in fury. The 7 star goddesses pointed their fingers at the black mist. Star godhood, meteor, countless starlight shone brightly, shooting out meteors that crashed into the black mist. However, the black mist only churned for a moment, without any reduction in intensity. The next second, whoosh whoosh whoosh, the black mist reflected countless dark meteors that struck the star goddesses. The 7 star goddesses were forced to retreat. Their starlight-formed bodies became transparent, clearly indicating they had suffered considerable damage. "I really didn't expect the goddess of night to be so powerful," Simon said with considerable surprise. In just one exchange, the goddess of night had repelled the 7 star goddesses. At this moment, anger appeared on the faces of the 7 star goddesses. "Goddess of night, you've gone too far," the 7 star goddesses roared, their bodies suddenly bursting with starlight. The 7 star goddesses shrank, becoming no larger than an ordinary human woman. The starlight collided and merged into one. Finally, after the starlight dissipated, a woman wearing a white wizard's robe was revealed. The woman had a beautiful face. Her features were perfectly proportioned and three-dimensional, with alluring, rosy cherry lips. Her skin was fair, and long, ethereal, starlight-like hair flowed down her back in the wind. The woman slowly opened her eyes, emanating an aura of dominance. "Night, you have angered me," the woman said calmly. The goddess of night snorted coldly, "Let me see if your strength has diminished after nearly 100,000 years of slumber." With a flick of her hand, black mist surged towards the awakened goddess of stars. The goddess of stars looked up at the black mist, her red lips slightly parted, and uttered 2 words, "Star Lion." As soon as she finished speaking, countless starlight burst forth behind her. The starlight formed a lifelike star lion. Roar, the star lion pounced forward, swallowing the black mist whole. Then, without stopping, it continued its attack on the goddess of night in the sky. Still as strong as ever, "Star goddess," the goddess of night cried out, her divine power erupting. "Night godhead, black tiger." Darkness surged behind her, eventually forming a black tiger. The star goddess's lips curled into a smile, imitating the moves I created. "Huh? Interesting." High in the sky, the black tiger and the star lion engaged in a fierce battle. The two were entangled, But the star lion was clearly superior. It seized an opportunity and bit off the black tiger's neck, then transformed into starlight and crashed into the goddess of night. Even the goddess of night, a true god, was knocked back, the black mist around her dissipating slightly, revealing a petite and exquisite female figure within. Goddess of night, you are still no match for me, the star goddess slightly raised her chin. Then, ignoring the goddess of night, she soared into the sky. Her right hand gently extended, splitting into countless starlight palms, beginning to vie for the world tree fruit. Soon, a green fruit fell into the star goddess's hand. Looking at the world tree fruits before her, the star goddess raised an eyebrow. They're not ripe yet, why did they fall prematurely? There was no time for the star goddess to ponder. So many world tree fruits were falling from the sky. Even with the three true gods vying for them with all their might, many still slipped through the net. What are those things? The demigods below asked, puzzled and curious. Bam was the first to recognize the fallen items. They are world tree fruits, containing the universal laws condensed by the world tree. Any demigod who consumes them can accelerate the perfection of their godhood. Normally, demigods need to absorb the power of the laws corresponding to their godhood to perfect it. However, the world tree fruits nurtured by the world tree contain all the laws of heaven and earth. It can be said that this is the treasure that any demigod seeks. Hearing Bam's explanation, all the demigods no longer hesitated and soared into the sky. What are we waiting for? Grab them. Chapter 220 Fighting for the Fruit. The demigods swarmed up, all soaring into the sky to vie for the world tree fruits. Even though the three true gods at the very top possessed the majority of the world tree fruits, the sheer number of falling fruits was overwhelming. Even the few that slipped through the fingers of the three true gods were still a considerable amount for Simon and the other demigods. Simon, using his speed advantage, was the first to snatch the first world tree fruit that had fallen among the demigods. The fruit was entirely blue, with swirling patterns on its surface, appearing unremarkable, no different from ordinary fruit. Simon flicked his little finger, tossing a fruit into his mouth and swallowing it. Suddenly, Simon's eyes lit up. Good stuff, about 2 can increase perfection by 1%. Although more world tree fruits will be needed later, the sheer quantity is overwhelming. With enough, even a demigod who has just condensed their divine spark has a chance to break through to true godhood directly. Simon wasn't the only one to make this discovery, the other demigods shared the same idea. The demigods unleashed their abilities, vying for the world tree fruits. Even Bam, who was only at the legendary level, was no exception. Despite only possessing legendary strength, Bam's efficiency in collecting world tree fruits was in no way inferior to that of demigods. Dragon's chains, countless golden chains shot out from Sky City, sweeping up the world tree fruits. The world tree fruits have fallen. This is a huge opportunity, we can't miss it. The 4 demigod servants of the star goddess exchanged glances. Damn it, I can't fly, Mountain Knight lamented bitterly. This area was divided into 3 layers. The first layer was occupied by the 3 true gods at the very top. The true gods' methods were unfathomable, even directly influencing the entire southern continent's sky. Therefore, any world tree fruits falling into the southern continent would first pass through the hands of these 3 true gods. Only world tree fruits that slipped through their hands would fall to the second layer, the location of the Star-Picking Alliance, Sky City, and a group of demigods. The final, third layer housed the 4 demigod servants. Hey, Mountain Knight, I'll let you fly, but you have to share half of the world tree fruits you get with me, how about it? The Twin Moon Wizard grinned and approached. No problem, the Mountain Knight watched enviously as world tree fruits were snatched away one after another. Alright, then take off. The Twin Moon Wizard waved his staff, and moonlight enveloped the Mountain Knight. Even though the Mountain Knight was as big as a small mountain, he successfully soared into the sky with the help of magic. Simon in the sky was using his speed and size advantage to quickly snatch world tree fruits. No, it's still too slow. Thunder Dragon 3000 forms. Simon didn't hesitate and decisively activated Thunder Dragon 3000 forms. Lightning flashed around him, and 3000 clones appeared. Simon's size was now 1,000 meters. The appearance of 3,000 meter long dragons was extremely spectacular. Too few have slipped through, the real big ones are all at the top. Simon's eyes narrowed. Under his control, all 3,000 clones rushed towards the top. Simon's clones made a lot of noise, so they were naturally noticed by the 3 true gods. Little Black Dragon. It's been a while since we last met, and you've grown to this extent. It's quite surprising. However, you're not fit to interfere in the battlefield of true gods right now. The goddess of night pointed a finger. Black lasers shot out, instantly killing at least 1,000 of the black dragon's clones. Hey, little black dragon, you're trying to interfere? I've already taken down 1,000 clones. It's your turn now. With that, the goddess of night continued collecting world tree fruits. Even though these fruits were not yet ripe, they were still rare treasures. HMPH, how could the selfish and self-serving goddess of stars allow Simon, a mere demigod ent, to interfere with them? She casually waved her hand. Star River waterfall, a dazzling Milky Way flowed down from the sky. The remaining 2,000 clones went against the current, but 1,000 were quickly annihilated. No more, no less. After eliminating 1,000 clones, the goddess of stars snapped her fingers. With a snap, the magnificent Star River waterfall vanished instantly. Simon's face turned ugly. He had initially thought he was close to the star goddess. Now it seemed he was only close to her avatars. The star goddess's true form made a move, and the difference in their strength became glaringly obvious. Hey, this is quite interesting, the Earth Mother Goddess chuckled. Return to Earth, the Earth churned, forming a gaping maw. The maw opened, releasing a powerful suction. Strangely, this suction only affected Simon's remaining 1,000 avatars, the other demigods in the air felt nothing. Unable to resist, the avatars were all sucked into the ground. Finally, the ground closed, as if nothing had happened. Little fellow, you're just a demigod. Don't overestimate yourself and try to steal from us true gods, the Earth Mother Goddess said, then ignored Simon, continuing to fight for the world tree fruits. Faced with a vast quantity of world tree fruits, they didn't even bother killing Simon. Simon's face turned ashen. This feeling of being slighted made his eyes blaze with fury. Simon gritted his teeth. The gap between demigods and true gods is still too great. Simon had to admit this fact. Seeing that even using all his strength, he couldn't snatch the world tree fruit from the true god's hands, he had no choice but to set his sights on the fruits held by the other demigods. Collecting them himself was nowhere near as fast as snatching them. Simon set his sights on the clumsy mountain knight. Because the mountain knight relied on the twin moon wizard's magic to fly, its flight was very awkward and clumsy. A greedy glint flashed in Simon's eyes. The mountain knight was hundreds of meters tall, looking like a moving mountain. Such a behemoth, if I eat him, I'll probably improve quite a bit. Simon greedily licked his lips. Because of his enormous size, Simon didn't bother to hide and pounce directly. Unlike the demigods who were actively collecting world tree fruit, the twin moon wizard didn't move, simply lying on the ground with his legs crossed, a cat's tail grass dangling from his mouth. Therefore, he noticed Simon's actions immediately. He shouted a warning, "Mountain Knight, watch out! Simon the Mad Dragon is coming towards you." The Mountain Knight, who had been basking in pride at having collected so many world tree fruits, suddenly heard the twin moon wizard's warning. The tall and imposing Mountain Knight looked around and, alerted by the twin moon wizard, immediately spotted Simon. The Mountain Knight yelled, "Mad Dragon, now that the world tree fruits are falling, why don't we put aside our grudges and collect them first?" Chapter 221 Body shape is everything. Kill you, and the fruit will be mine. Simon sneered menacingly, accelerating towards the Mountain Knight, opening his blood-red maw as if to bite off its head. The Mountain Knight, unskilled in aerial combat, was momentarily flustered. "Watch this," the twin moon wizard waved his staff, and the fly magic cast on the Mountain Knight vanished instantly. The Mountain Knight disappeared in an instant, crashing to the ground. Boom, the earth cracked, and the ground shook violently. Dust filled the sky, leaving only a tall figure standing on the ground. Indeed, standing on the ground makes one feel safer, the Mountain Knight laughed heartily. Then, he looked up at the 1,000-meter-long dragon above him. "Get down here." The Mountain Knight raised his hands high and swung them forcefully at Simon. Gravity godhood, myriad gravity pull. Simon suddenly felt a significant increase in weight, caught off guard and abruptly slammed to the ground. A huge crater was created. The earth shook even more violently than when the Mountain Knight fell. "Now you can't stand up," the Mountain Knight said smugly. The twin moon wizard immediately warned, "Fool, the Mad Dragon's strength far exceeds your imagination. Don't be careless. Use your full power, the divine power bestowed by the goddess." The twin moon wizard's voice had barely faded when a 1,000-meter-long dragon pounced from the crater, directly knocking the tall and mighty Mountain Knight to the ground. "To dare underestimate your opponent, how utterly foolish," Simon sneered, pressing the mountain knight down firmly with both hands and opening his massive jaws. Rows of sharp teeth were revealed before the mountain knight. At this moment, the mountain knight finally felt the fear the starlight dragon had felt when facing Simon. Frosty Moon Divine Essence, Moon's Chill. The twin moon wizard could no longer stand idly by. He also waved his staff, casting a frost-covered moon above his head and blasting it towards Simon. However, as the full moon approached, Simon remained unmoved, letting the cold moon strike him. Such minor damage was utterly insignificant to Simon. Devouring Godhead, Absolute Tier. Due to the urgency of the situation, Simon directly activated his Devouring Godhead. The mountain knight, who had been struggling and resisting, immediately felt himself bound. This was a binding force originating from the power of laws. The mountain knight immediately activated his Gravity Godhead, mobilizing the laws of gravity to resist. However, both were demigods, and Simon's Godhead, having devoured many world tree fruits, was now nearly 70% complete, allowing him to wield even stronger laws. Even if the mountain knight wanted to break free of the binding forces, it would take some time. That little time would be enough for Simon to devour him completely. Save me, save me. The mountain knight desperately activated his Gravity Godhead, even mobilizing the divine power bestowed upon him by the star goddess. The mountain knight's aura surged, far surpassing that of an ordinary demigod. But what good did it do? He still couldn't break free from the binding forces of the devouring law in a short time. Starlight Godhead, Starlight Roar, Starlight Godhead, Lake Currents Rage. The voices of the Starlight Dragon and the Starlake Demigod echoed in the sky. Starlight and Lake Water relentlessly bombarded Simon. Moonlight, Starlight, and Lake Water. The combined power of three demigods, unleashing their full strength and using the divine power granted by the true God, finally caused Simon to feel pain and stop moving. You bunch of guys, don't you know it's impolite to disturb others while they're eating? Simon turned his head. His gaze fell on the nearest twin moon wizard. A sense of oppression and conqueror's haki instantly locked onto the target. The twin moon wizard's hair stood on end, his heart filled with fear. With just one glance, the twin moon wizard felt the threat of death. I can move, that's great, I can finally move. The mountain knight was overjoyed. With the combined assistance of three demigods, the mountain knight, being one of the star goddess's followers, was naturally not weak, and finally broke free from the shackles of the laws. He was radiating starlight, a symbol of wielding the power of the stars. Gravity Godhood, Trillion Gravity Fist. The mountain knight drew his arm, throwing a punch at Simon's head. This punch was imbued with terrifying gravity, incredibly powerful. Just as the punch was about to strike Simon, a dragon claw reached out and gripped the mountain knight's fist tightly. Zzzzz, electricity crackled. Red light appeared. Simon's muscles swelled, his strength increasing 20-fold. He seized the fist that had unleashed a law-based technique, relying solely on his physical body to forcefully press down on the mountain knight's fist. Impossible, impossible. I am a mountain giant renowned for my strength. My trillion gravity fist can shatter a mountain with a single blow. How could you possibly catch it like this? The mountain knight cried out in despair. Form is power, form is justice, form is everything, Simon sneered, one hand firmly pressing down on the mountain knight who prided himself on strength. So, you can die now. Simon took a bite, tearing off a large portion of the mountain knight's body. Even in death, the mountain knight remained incredulous. Fortunately, he reacted quickly, transferring the world tree fruit and other treasures he had obtained through the divine realm to his close friend, the Starlight Dragon. What, mountain, mad dragon Simon, I will never forgive you. The remaining three demigods glared angrily. As companions who had spent every day together, they shared a deep bond. This was why, when Simon attacked the mountain knight, the other three demigods did not hesitate to stop collecting world tree fruits and instead came to his aid. Simon slowly rose, grabbed the mountain knight's corpse, and devoured it in a few bites, devouring the demigod mountain knight, size plus 60 meters, devouring the mountain knight, faith plus 4.3 million, how, you think you're worthy? Flesh and blood grew, and Simon's size changed. Meanwhile, as the devouring godhead continued to improve, the amount of faith power that could be plundered also increased. At this moment, Simon's faith power exceeded 10 million. He stood on two legs, his figure towering, his muscles bulging, his wingspan blotting out the sky. With a gentle flick of his tail, a deep trench was carved into the ground. A 1,000-meter-long dragon, electricity coursing across its body. 10 million faith power made the dragon incredibly majestic. Simon's aura was soaring, invincible. Just by standing there, a terrifying aura began to spread. The demigods all turned their gazes towards him, and even the three true gods in the sky paused in unison. Just as Simon killed the mountain knight and was preparing to find a new target, the world tree fruit finally stopped falling. However, the three true gods did not stop their actions. They turned their attention to the domineering Simon below, and to the vast sky city. Chapter 222 True Gods Join Forces. Has the little black dragon's strength grown to this level? The goddess of night narrowed her eyes, a faint killing intent emanating from her depths within the black mist. Black dragon Simon, your growth rate is indeed a threat. The goddess of stars' illusory hair danced wildly, her entire body radiating a chilling aura. Truly a black dragon with boundless potential. Is this a devouring godhood? Give you some more time, and you'll probably become a true god. The Earth Mother Goddess, with a benevolent expression, stared intently at Simon, her tone gentle yet concealing murderous intent. The southern continent doesn't need a fourth true god. The three true gods had long ago reached an agreement. Once a fourth true god appeared on the southern continent, the three would join forces to fight against the true gods, thus maintaining the tripartite division of the world. Being targeted by three true gods, Simon felt immense pressure. The falling of the world tree fruits finally stopped. The demigods no longer fought over them. But the true gods had their eyes on the demigods. Simon immediately shouted to Bam, "It's been so long, Sky City should be able to traverse space by now, our plan has succeeded, let's go." The Star Lion was devoured by the Pigman Apostle, and the Star-Picking Alliance had successfully completed its objective. Simon bent his knees and leaped heavily into the sky. With a flap of his wings, he flew to Sky City. The remaining demigods of the Star-Picking Alliance also returned to Sky City. "It's ready, let's go." Bam, dressed in black robes, immediately manipulated Sky City, attempting to traverse space. Watching Sky City about to leave through space, the three true gods remained calm and composed. The Star Goddess, after the 7 avatars merged, naturally possessed a power far beyond what the avatars could match. Their strength could only be described as earth-shattering. For the avatars to seal space and prevent Sky City from leaving, they needed to set up traps and magic arrays in advance. However, the Star Goddess's true form obviously did not need to. Laws unfold. Star River Wilderness, the Star Goddess's cherry-like lips parted slightly, and she slowly uttered a few words. As soon as the words left his mouth, countless star laws formed in the surrounding space. The surrounding environment changed drastically. Countless starlight appeared, and everyone seemed to be immersed in the vast and boundless universe. Seeing this familiar scene again, Simon's heart skipped a beat. The starry wilderness was colorful. One of the powerful moves of the Star Goddess, Simon didn't even have the ability to resist it. He only managed to escape by detonating the Star Goddess's attack with a devouring law. It was as if the Star Goddess herself broke her own move, otherwise Simon would have really been doomed. Not good, it's a law domain, the space has been completely sealed off. Bam's face was grim, and cold sweat poured down his forehead. The demigods were puzzled. Law domain, a term they had never heard of before. But they understood the second half of Bam's sentence. That is, the space had been sealed off again. Three true gods joined forces to attack. Everyone was going to die. Their target is the Mad Dragon, right? It has nothing to do with us. As long as we hand him over, we can live, a demigod said sullenly. Simon immediately glared at him. The dragon's might swept over the speaking demigod, causing him to shrink back. However, his words had already planted a seed in the hearts of the Star-Picking Alliance demigods. Besieged by three true gods and facing imminent death, this seed was rapidly taking root and sprouting. The demigods all considered handing over Simon in exchange for their safety. Even Bam wavered. Seeing this, Simon quickly shouted, "Utterly foolish. Sky City is such a treasure, and you've already seized so many world tree fruits. Do you really think you can escape this fate just because I die?" The demigods wavered. Judging from the three true gods' recent actions, they were very interested in the world tree fruits. Handing over Simon might not guarantee their safe departure. Then what do you suggest? These are three true gods, the demigod asked. The three true gods in the sky were eyeing them menacingly, but none made the first move. They all coveted a treasure like Sky City. The ancient dragon race, as ancient rulers, might have hidden special secrets in their city. Simon's eyes lit up. I've got an idea. The pig apostle has already devoured 7 star lions. If everyone contributes some world tree fruits, once he condenses his plunder godhood, and the blood cry god descends, we'll also possess true god level combat power. Even if we can't defeat 3 true gods, at least escaping with us won't be a problem. Simon explained his plan, even offering 20 world tree fruits. I'll start with my proposal. I'm willing to offer 20 world tree fruits, all for the alliance. Simon's voice was impassioned. With a flick of his hand, 20 unripe world tree fruits were tossed in front of the crimson pigman. The pigman was quite surprised. He also wanted to compete for the world tree fruits, but with his strength, he couldn't possibly intervene in such a situation. He just hadn't expected to obtain them in this way. And it was proposed by the black dragon Simon, whom he hated. 20 world tree fruits, Mad Dragon is quite generous. Now that a formidable enemy is at hand, our star-picking alliance should unite to fight against the true gods. I'll offer 3, the rhinoceros beetle demigod also offered 3 world tree fruits. I only managed to grab about 20, I'll contribute 2, then I'll contribute 2 too. The demigods took turns contributing, and in no time, dozens of world tree fruits piled up in front of the crimson pigman. 3 true gods silently watched everything from above, taking in the actions of the star-picking alliance demigods. That pigman seems to have the aura of another true god. Yes, it should be the blood cry god from the eastern continent, a very troublesome fellow. Let's stop them. If the blood cry god descends, none of us will benefit, the 3 true gods discussed among themselves. Then let's attack together, and divide Sky City equally. If there are any secrets of the ancient dragons, we'll share them. That's a good suggestion, although I really don't want to cooperate with you. I'm also very curious about the secrets of the ancient dragon race. The 3 true gods made a decision, joining forces to kill the demigods and ultimately explore the secrets of the ancient dragons in Sky City together. The 3 true gods nodded to each other and then began to kill the demigods on Sky City. Star Lion, the star goddess murmured. Starlight coalesced, forming a gigantic lion that pounced on the demigods. Black Tiger, the night goddess, not to be outdone, created a black tiger as well. You all like using this kind of move, huh? Well, I'll join in the fun too, the Earth Mother chuckled. Earth Elephant, a giant elephant formed from Earth, charging towards the Sky City alongside the Star Lion and the Black Tiger. Leave the giant elephant to me, Simon roared, his aura surging. Millions of faith surged within him. With a single leap, he charged headlong into the earthen elephant. The two collided, the elephant shattering, and Simon was thrown back, his aura drastically diminished. Even his faith power weakened considerably. Chapter 223 I'll become a god, won't I? Simon took the initiative, stepping forward. He clashed with the giant elephant, resulting in mutual destruction. The elephant shattered, turning into a pile of yellow dust. Simon staggered back, his aura waning, his faith power dwindling. Mad Dragon, you bastard, the demigods were moved by Simon's selfless act. We can't back down either. So what if he's a true god? Don't underestimate the bond between us, you bastard. That's right, so what if he's a true god? Don't delude yourself into thinking you can easily defeat us. You 3 have been monopolizing the resources of the southern continent for years. I've been fed up with you for a long time, the demigods shouted, unleashing their most powerful attacks. Lights swirled, terrifying energy converging into a single mass. An ant trying to shake a tree, how laughable, the star goddess mocked, waving her right hand, and the star lion swallowed the combined attack of the demigods in one gulp, then charged into their midst. A rabble, the night goddess also looked down at the demigods from her high position. Black Tiger joined the battle, fighting alongside Star Lion against the demigods. The lion and tiger, working together, charged into the demigods as if they were nothing. These useless trash, Simon cursed inwardly. He hadn't expected that so many demigods working together couldn't even take down one of Star Lion or Black Tiger, instead being slaughtered without a trace. Simon had no choice but to adjust his stance and re-enter the battlefield. He pounced forward, using his massive body to grab Star Lion and pull it away from the demigod battlefield. But Star Lion was no pushover. It quickly broke free from Simon's grasp and then slapped him with its paw. Simon had no time to dodge and was knocked to the ground by the relatively small Star Lion's paw. His faith dwindled, even dropping to less than 1 million, and his aura gradually weakened. But Simon quickly rallied, his hand forming a fist, red lightning flashing above, instantly creating an ancient dragon lightning spear. He thrust the spear at Star Lion. Star Lion, small in size, moved nimbly. It simply leaped away, dodging Simon's attack. However, Simon's lips curled into a smirk. The ancient dragon lightning spear exploded. A sky full of lightning instantly engulfed the Star Lion. High above, 3 true gods looked down upon the demigod. The black dragon's strength is indeed impressive, but he seems to be plotting something, the goddess of night keenly sensed. Whatever, I've had my fill of fun. The goddess of stars gently shook her head. She looked down and descended voluntarily. The goddess of stars was going to take action herself. Alright, at least kill this black dragon first, to prevent the emergence of a 4th true god. The Earth Mother Goddess was also preparing to get serious. The goddess of night thought for a moment, then looked down at Simon and called out, "Little black dragon, if you are willing to voluntarily relinquish your divine status, I can protect you." Of the 3 true gods, the goddess of night was relatively familiar with Simon. But familiarity aside, the goddess of night did not want a 4th true god to appear in the southern continent, to divide up the benefits she could obtain. Celestial crystals, magical materials, rare creatures. If a 4th true god appeared, these things would inevitably lead to conflict. And how difficult it was for a true god to kill another true god. To be on the safe side, the 3 true gods agreed to jointly eliminate any potential threats. Currently, the infinitely potential Simon was clearly such a threat. Abandoning his divine status, Simon smiled after killing Star Lion, slowly raising his middle finger at the goddess of night. Goddess of night, you keep saying the goddess of stars is a bitch, but I think you're not much different, perhaps even inferior to the goddess of stars. At least your strength isn't as great as hers, Simon added. Night bitch. The darkness in the sky began to surge. Like rolling thunder clouds, it was extremely dangerous. The goddess of night remained silent in the darkness, clearly enraged. Lies don't hurt, the truth is the sharpest blade. You're courting death, the goddess of night roared. With a whoosh, the goddess of night instantly appeared before Simon, so fast that even Simon didn't react. Goddess of night, heart-fearing great handprint, the goddess of night gently struck out with her right hand towards Simon. With a single strike, darkness coalesced, forming a gigantic hand. Before Simon could react, the hand struck him. Simon was sent flying backward, his massive body shattering, bones breaking, blood gushing from his mouth. Not only that, but an indescribable fear gripped Simon's heart. But Simon had experienced much, even as a transcendent being. He dared to provoke the incarnation of the star goddess and fight against a legend. Even as a legend, he provoked a demigod and was besieged by them. Now, as a demigod, he was fighting against a true god. His will was incredibly strong, and he easily suppressed this fear. Oh, to be able to withstand my heart-fearing handprint unscathed, you certainly have great perseverance, but you must die today. The goddess of night stepped forward again, ready to slap Simon to death. But at that moment, a bloody stench began to spread across Sky City. With the demigods buying time, the pig apostle finally consumed all the world tree fruits. With a blessing of numerous laws, the pig apostle successfully condensed a divine spark. Great, it's a success. Bam! Who was manipulating the chains to fight the black tiger against the demigods, beamed with joy. Heart, revealing his true form, a robust red dragon, though being overwhelmed by the black tiger, hurriedly shouted, "Pig apostle," then as we agreed before, quickly summoned the blood god. The demigods all eagerly awaited. The pig apostle, his body as red as jade, nodded slightly. "Thank you all for your help. I will now request a blood god's assistance." He then looked at Simon with a complex expression. "Black dragon, although I have an irreconcilable blood feud with you, thanks to you this time, I was able to condense my divine spark. I will have the blood god save you." The pig apostle's aura continued to rise. The evil, twisted stench of blood became even stronger, almost tangible. The demigods and true gods present vaguely saw a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. The 3 true gods finally noticed the anomaly. "This guy's not right, kill him first." The star goddess pointed her finger, sending out a meteor that pierced the pig apostle's body. The Earth Mother Goddess condensed stone spikes, turning the pig apostle into a hedgehog. But the next second, the pig apostle returned to normal. His figure vanished, instantly appearing between Simon and the goddess of night. "Goddess of night, black dragon Simon, I've saved him, give me some face." The pig apostle, or rather, the blood cry god, said confidently. "What are you? A mere projection of a will with the power of a true god. Wants me to give you face." The goddess of night said disdainfully. But at this moment, Simon made a move that surprised everyone present. Taking advantage of the blood cry god's complete relaxation of vigilance, he opened his blood-red maw and swallowed him whole, devouring godhood, absolute tear. The power of law covered the blood cry god, causing his body to stiffen for a moment. In that instant, the blood cry god was devoured by Simon. Mad Dragon Simon, what are you doing? Without blood god, how can we fight against three true gods? Bam stamped his foot anxiously, glaring at Simon. Simon smiled calmly. It's simple, I'll become a god. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 224 The Three Gods Battle Simon. Having devoured the demigod boar apostle, size increased by 40 meters, I'll just become a god, won't I? Simon said calmly. His aura was no longer concealed, but exposed. A complete divine spark was condensing within him. The aura of a true god was revealed, leaving the three true gods in disbelief. Especially the goddess of the night, standing before Simon, stared wide-eyed. This mythical aura, emanating only from a complete divine spark, was undeniable, no matter how much the goddess of the night refused to believe it. Simon had condensed a complete divine spark and broken through to become a true god right before the eyes of the three true gods. I understand. You clearly possess tens of millions of faith after devouring the mountain knight, yet your faith power steadily declined during the recent battle. To conceal your actions, you even deliberately burned a portion of your faith power to enhance your combat strength. In reality, you secretly used the majority, at least 8 million, of your faith power to accelerate the perfection of your godhood. However, given your previous perfection level of only about 70%, it's impossible for you to perfect your godhood with a mere 8 million faiths, the goddess of night analyzed methodically. Therefore, you're deceiving. You're nothing but a false god. Simon's lips curled into a smirk. Whether I am a false god or not, you'll find out by trying. He gave a provocative smile. The goddess of night was already furious, and she couldn't tolerate Simon's provocation. Dark godhood, black tiger, darkness surged, and a black tiger pounced on Simon. Simon simply opened his mouth wide. Devour godhood, devour. A terrifying suction force emanated, and the black tiger, unable to resist, was swallowed whole by Simon. Under the influence of the devouring godhead, the black tiger was transformed into pure energy, which began to repair Simon's body, restoring most of the damage he had suffered. As expected of a true god's attack, truly delicious, Simon's bones returned to their original state, his flesh grew back, and he looked as if he hadn't been injured at all. How is this possible? How could a false god's godhead devour a true god's attack? The goddess of night was still somewhat unwilling to accept reality. Simon, however, slowly explained, godheads possess similarities. For example, the star goddess's star godhead, and the starlight godhead of her subordinate starlight dragon. My devouring godhead naturally also has similar godheads, such as the ocean god's absorption godhead, and the pig apostle's plunder godhead just now. Devouring godheads of the same type can greatly improve the perfection of a godhead. As Simon spoke, flames and lightning condensed in his right hand, and he slapped at the goddess of night. The goddess of night formed a large hand of darkness from her body, and retaliated without backing down. After all, the goddess of night was a veteran true god, and the two were evenly matched in terms of power. Bam on Sky City realized, so, you already had your eye on the pig apostle the moment you saw him, right? Simon glanced back at Bam, as expected of the alliance leader. You're truly clever. The rhinoceros beetle and the demigods were all speechless. No wonder you were so generous just now, giving away 20 world tree fruits at once. Simon laughed heartily. I couldn't help it. If I asked you to give me the world tree fruits so I could perfect my godhood, you definitely wouldn't agree, so I chose a compromise. Let the pig apostle accelerate the formation of his godhood, and then I'll devour him to perfect my godhood and break through to true godhood. Simon laughed loudly, raising his right hand high and striking the goddess of night again, but this time, his palm carried a powerful devouring force. Ha ha ha, let me see just how powerful this perfected godhood really is. Devour the godhood, mobilize the devouring power. This move is called devouring dragon claw. Simon used devouring dragon claw to strike the goddess of night. A technique imbued with the laws of nature. Even after confirming Simon's ascension to mythology, The goddess of night dared not be careless. Demonic godhood of night, heart-fearing great handprint, the goddess of night controlled a black mist, conjuring a humanoid hand the same size as Simon's claw. The attacks of the two true gods collided. But the black mist hand was shattered by a single blow. Or rather, disappearing with a single blow would be more accurate. The moment Simon touched the black mist hand, he burst into laughter. Simon was radiant, his energy overflowing. Devoured, the goddess of night retreated hastily, fearing being touched by Simon's hand. Simon, however, nodded with great satisfaction. A perfected divine core is indeed powerful. Manipulating the devouring law is as easy as using a limb. Simon waved his hand again, and countless small black holes appeared before him. These black holes continuously began to devour the laws of the surrounding stars, strengthening themselves. But is this all? It doesn't feel like this is all the improvement, Simon wondered. With a perfected divine core, the power of laws was wielded much more easily. But if it's just using the power of laws, even an imperfect godhood can achieve it. So, what exactly is the difference between a fully fledged godhood and a demigod? Simon was puzzled. He's only just become a true god and hasn't yet mastered this power. Let's take this opportunity to join forces and kill him. The Earth Mother Goddess noticed Simon's doubts and spoke up. The goddess of night finally recovered from her shock. The southern continent doesn't need a fourth true god. Black Dragon Simon, surrender, now. The goddess of night's address to Simon changed from treating him like a pet to Black Dragon Simon. It was clear that the goddess of night was now treating Simon as a true opponent. Don't hold back. Before he fully masters the power of a true god, let's blast him to pieces with all our might. The goddess of stars also became solemn. The appearance of a fourth true god would change the landscape of the southern continent. This was something the true gods did not want to see. Star goddess, a wish for a vibrant galaxy. Enveloped in starlight, the star goddess shed her white wizard's robes, transforming into a cheerful and sunny young woman. First wish, to gaze upon the stars. The star goddess unleashed a deadly attack right from the start. The surrounding galaxy and universe began to resonate. The young woman slightly raised her fair chin, her gaze upward. Her eyes seemed to pierce the heavens, seeing the starry universe isolated from the world tree. With the young woman's movement, white light shone in the galaxy and wilderness. But that wasn't all. This was only the star goddess's ultimate move. To prevent the fourth true god from dividing their spoils, the remaining two goddesses also unleashed their respective ultimate moves. The goddess of night pumped energy from her entire body, shouting, "Darkness goddess, darkness fills the sky, but my heart remains." The Earth Mother Goddess followed closely behind, unleashing her strongest move, Earth Goddess, I pity myself, I beg to shape my beloved body. Chapter 225 The Law unfolds. Darkness fills the sky, but my heart remains. A vast darkness spread from the goddess of night. In just a few moments, it occupied a third of the sky. From the darkness emerged a gigantic figure. Its head alone was comparable to the entire sky city. The giant reached out, grabbing at Simon. I pity, I beg, shape my body of love. The Earth Mother, her entire body encased in rock, continuously reformed and transformed, finally becoming a headless, winged human. Unlike the goddess of night, the Earth Mother's size rapidly shrank, from a 100-meter tall rock giant to a headless human no more than 3 meters tall. Although the Earth Mother's size decreased, the aura emanating from her was even more terrifying. 3 true gods joined forces. From all directions, countless starlight bombarded Simon. The dark giant, its massive hand shrouded in smoke, exuded an overwhelming aura. The headless humanoid figure's right hand clenched, and a golden spear instantly materialized. Boundless golden light filled the remaining space in the sky. With a single swing, the spear seemed to pierce through space, arriving before Simon in an instant. The 3 true gods had launched their strongest attack together. The attack was earth-shattering. The entire sky was divided into 3 parts, starlight, a dark giant, and golden holiness. At this moment, all the creatures of the southern continent raised their heads in unison. The sheer scale of the attack was enough to alert all the creatures of the southern continent. Is this the power of a true god? Terrifying, too terrifying. We actually dared to attempt to confront such a terrifying being. Was it wishful thinking or overestimating our own abilities? Can the mad dragon survive such an attack? The demigods of the star-picking alliance shrank back in fear. Even Simon, who had already achieved true godhood, couldn't help but change his expression in the face of such an offensive. He stood on the sky city, looking up at the three true gods. Little black hole, condense. The little black holes around him rapidly converged, forming a massive black hole that blocked Simon's path, obstructing the golden spear. But this golden spear was the full-force attack of the veteran true god, the Earth Mother Goddess. How could Simon, a mere upstart who had just broken through to mythology, possibly withstand it? The black hole, entirely composed of the devouring law, was instantly pierced by the golden spear. The spear's momentum didn't diminish, piercing directly through Simon's chest. Immediately afterward, a deluge of starlight descended. Enveloped in starlight, Simon's body seemed to be immersed in strong acid, rapidly dissolving. Finally, the dark giant delivered a punch, the force of which exploded. Under the attack of the three true gods, Sky City began to crumble. One massive rock after another floated in the air. The attack ended. The dust settled. Simon's disheveled figure appeared. A huge hole in his chest clearly revealed a missing piece of his heart. His right side and his once thick tail had vanished. The only remaining wing had been worn away by the starlight, leaving only a skeleton. Simon, sprawled on the ground, struggled to keep himself upright. If it weren't for the feast skill providing him with a powerful physique, Simon would have been obliterated by this attack. Hell. Simon looked utterly pathetic. Despite only having half his body remaining, Simon showed no despair on his face, instead displaying a wild laugh. "What are you laughing at?" the three gods asked, puzzled. Playing tricks, the goddess of night attacked again, the dark giant in the sky unleashing a second unstoppable punch. Despite his fatal injuries, Simon spoke slowly and deliberately. "My divine spark was formed by absorbing another divine spark, so it has always been within me. I thought that even after becoming a true god, I would still need to rely on my divine spark to control the power of laws, but thanks to you all for shattering my body, causing my divine spark to break and merge within my body, I now understand the difference between a true god and a demigod." Simon's body slumped, and he stood up using his remaining left leg. His breath was weak, and he appeared to be on the verge of death. Simon looked up at the dark giant's incoming fist and said again, "The so-called true god is one who perfects their divine spark, then shatters it and merges it into their body, making their entire body a divine spark. In this way, when controlling the power of laws, the divine spark is no longer needed as a medium, making it much easier, as simple as an ordinary creature controlling its limbs." The three true gods were moved. They hadn't expected Simon to discover this so soon after his breakthrough. They had all become true gods themselves, slowly figuring out how to merge their divine sparks into their bodies. HMPH. "So what? You must die today." The goddess of night controlled the dark giant to strike. "Something's not right. I feel something's wrong. He's on the verge of death. Why is he still so calm and composed?" The goddess of stars frowned, also quickly activating the next move of the starry wilderness wish. Second wish, grasp the star. The girl raised her slender arm and clenched it. Starlight appeared around Simon, transforming into the goddess of stars' large hand, as if to crush him. The headless winged being, transformed from the Earth Mother Goddess, also made a move. A golden spear was gripped in her hand, but this time she didn't swing it. Instead, she held it tightly. The headless winged being flapped its wings, transforming into golden light and swooping towards Simon. Facing the second wave of attacks from the three true gods, Simon remained calm and composed. "After the divine spark merged into my body, I discovered something else. This should be the true reason for the power of true gods." Upon hearing this, the three true gods, who had previously only shown emotion, now displayed horror. Could it be? A possibility subconsciously surfaced in the minds of the three true gods, but they quickly dismissed it. Impossible, absolutely impossible. How could a black dragon that has just broken through to true god level possibly master that move? The three true gods simultaneously entertained a guess. But the next second, Simon proved their suspicions true. Simon opened his ferocious maw and uttered, word by word, "Laws unfold, devour heaven and earth to strengthen my body." The fluctuations of the devouring laws erupted from Simon's body. Centered on him, a black hole was rapidly expanding at a speed visible to the naked eye. Anything the black hole touched was instantly absorbed. The sky city beneath Simon's feet was no exception. After absorbing these things, the black hole grew even faster, even feeding back into Simon. Bang bang bang, Simon's heart pounded powerfully. His injured body began to heal. Bones regrowed, meridians reconnected, and flesh grew. The starlight hand that had intended to crush Simon was touched by the black hole first. The starlight hand, after all, was one of the star goddess's deadly moves, and wasn't immediately swallowed. However, even with a black hole blocking it, it couldn't harm Simon. In fact, the starlight on the hand's surface dimmed even more. This was a sign that it was about to be devoured. End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all. See you in the next video.